one and all, to the Dan O'Donnell Show. A beautiful Wednesday afternoon, and this our last live broadcast before the 4th of July on Friday. We'll be throughout this 3-hour expanse of broadcast excellence, or at the very least, and far more likely, broadcast competence, a tribute to these great United States of America. It seems over the past several months that the USA is back in a big way, and we will explain just how. Plus, a look at one of the darkest chapters in American history that produced an everyday hero from right here in Wisconsin, who stands as a timeless reminder that the true greatness of this country isn't in its politics, it isn't in its government or its leadership, but it's in its everyday people. All of that, plus the daily Trump date. We will hopefully be talking with Wisconsin Congressman Derek Van Orden live from the floor of the House as it is taking a number of procedural votes on the one big, beautiful bill. The unhinged liberal of the day today is one of the more unhinged people we have here in Wisconsin. What is he planning to do at his local 4th of July parade in 2 days? That and so much more on the Dan O'Donnell Show. You want to join us? I know you do. 414-799-1130 is our adventknows.com talk and text line. Reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me directly, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, where you can find me on social media. We're also streaming live on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to the Dan O'Donnell Show podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts. Sizzling Summer Cash Contest is not taking a 4th of July holiday. In addition to 3 chances to win on today's show, we are going to be playing the contest on our flagship station, WISN, tomorrow, July 3rd, as well as Friday, July 4th, even though both are not considered regular programming days. We do have company-wide holidays, obviously, on the 4th and on the 3rd as well, special patriotic programming, and we have panel discussions from our WISN hosts and producers throughout the day over the next couple of days. But you will still have chances to win $1,000 each hour, just like Bob from Cedarburg and Carrie from Milwaukee did. Yesterday, Bob was listening in the 3 o'clock hour right here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. His entry was picked at random, won $1,000. Then at 5 o'clock, Carrie was listening. That's Carl. I'm sorry, Carl. I know I do need to get my glasses on. Producer, actually news guy, Dave Michaels, raced in here. It is Carl. Sorry, Carl. I didn't want to misgender you. I didn't want to dead name you. Carl was listening in the 5 o'clock hour. His entry. Well, we don't use pronouns in the stupid email that I get. And yes, my eyes are definitely failing, almost faster than my left knee. I can't decide which one is going to go first. Carl was listening. His entry was selected. He won $1,000 in the 5 o'clock hour. Let's make it 2 winners in a row at 3 o'clock. First, it was Bob. Now it's your turn. Pay is the word, P-A-Y, pay. You have got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword pay. If your entry is picked at random, we will pay you $1,000 in our Sizzling Summer Cash Contest. Now, I don't often say that you absolutely do need to go to the DanoCam to at least check in on today's live stream, but today is, in fact, one of those days. It being the last day before the 4th of July holiday, I decided to get a little dressed up to express my patriotism in a way that I think is entertaining to all. the 2025 Dan O'Donnell Show 4th of July costume. You can check it out right now. And yes, it is making wearing earphones very, very difficult. Let me see if I can fit them underneath my hat here. I've been struggling all show long. No, that looks ridiculous. I think I'm going to have to switch it up to some earbuds or something like that in order to fit my hat. Yes, I do have a hat on. It's going to make it extra entertaining to hear me just absolutely eviscerate the Wisconsin Supreme Court's divided ruling on the 1849 abortion law. As a reminder, you are legally required as a member of the media in Wisconsin to only refer to Wisconsin's 1849 abortion law as the 1849 abortion law, as though the year it was passed or how many years ago it was passed has any relevance on whether or not it's still a valid law. For 2+ years now, in fact, we have reached the 3-year anniversary of Roe v. Wade. We are nearly at 2 full years since liberals seized control of the Wisconsin Supreme Court, and they have finally gotten around to overturning Wisconsin's 1849 abortion law. They did so on yet again such ridiculously flimsy legal grounds to render them once again nothing more than a partisan outfit that does the partisan bidding of the Democrat Party. And we have individual justices who prefer to make rulings based only on their own political or personal philosophical preferences as opposed to the actual letter of the law. If they did otherwise, well, then they probably wouldn't be liberal justices. Now, would they? Time and again, we have seen such easily debunked rulings coming from this court that it doesn't really take a sound legal mind in order to do it. In fact, all it takes is some dude on the radio dressed as Uncle Sam. Again, check it out, Dan O'Cam at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, on Facebook, on the Gram, and on YouTube. We conclude, Rebecca Dallett writes for the majority, that comprehensive legislation enacted over the last 50 years regulating in detail the who, what, when, where, and how of abortion so thoroughly covers the entire subject of abortion that it was meant as a substitute for the 19th century near total ban on abortion. Accordingly, we hold that the legislature impliedly repealed Statute 940.041 as to abortion, and that Statute 940.041 therefore does not ban abortion in the state of Wisconsin. The doctrine that's applied here is known as implied repeal. The thinking is that a legislature doesn't necessarily have to expressly repeal a statute in order for the statute to be repealed. If the legislature crafts new legislation, enacts a new statute that says the exact opposite of the old statute, a court will therefore presume that the old statute has been replaced by the new statute. And even though the legislature didn't expressly strike down or repeal the old statute, that statute is in fact null and void. That's the doctrine of implied repeal. It is very rarely used because, quite frankly, legislatures know what they're doing. They know what laws are on the books, and when they intend to repeal legislation, they repeal it. When they don't intend to repeal legislation, they don't repeal it. The court, therefore, needs to get into the mind of any number of different sessions of the legislature going back hundreds of years in this case, in order to get the conclusion that the legislature meant to repeal the abortion statute, but just never really got around to it. It is true that, in fact, for the 50 years that Roe v. Wade was the law of the land and said that all abortion statutes everywhere were unenforceable on their face and abortion was to be legal everywhere, states like Wisconsin crafted new legislation on top of their old legislation that would deal with this new reality. You might remember Governor Scott Walker wrote and the legislature signed on to a 20-week abortion ban. Well, the Supreme Court's majority cites that law to say, well, the conservative Republican legislature, which didn't want any abortions at all, when it signed on to, and when it crafted, and Governor Walker, an equally pro-life conservative Republican, when he signed the legislation banning abortions after 20 weeks to comply with Roe v. Wade, he really wanted the total ban on abortion law to be repealed. That couldn't be farther from the truth. In fact, as Justice Brian Hagedorn writes in his dissent, for a court to find that the legislature impliedly repealed a statute through a later substitute, a litigant must demonstrate that the legislature designed a newer law to act as a substitute for all previous laws on the topic. Quoting a leading treatise, we explained in State v. Campbell that a statute is impliedly repealed when a subsequent statute revises the whole subject matter of a former one and is evidently intended as a substitute for it. We can therefore break it down into three prerequisites. 1, a singular act. 2, covering the whole field. And 3, that was clearly intended to be the sole governing law on the topic. The mere fact that there are so many different laws that were written in recent years to govern abortion under the reality that was the post-Roe v. Wade, pre-Dobbs v. Jackson that repealed Roe v. Wade world, there couldn't be one law that was designed to be a substitute for that abortion law. Ergo, the doctrine of implied repeal cannot possibly apply here. Why does the Supreme Court and its 4 liberals who comprise the majority believe it to be? Because they want it to be. And this was the only doctrine, I believe, that they were able to even plausibly make the argument without issuing a ruling that, again, would come from nowhere, that there is somehow a fundamental right to abortion that emanates from some clause somewhere in the Wisconsin Constitution. Clearly, it does not. Clearly, the legislative intent was not to repeal the abortion statute, but rather to craft laws that didn't act as a substitute, but that acted to chip away at the Roe v. Wade ruling. And this was always the problem with Roe v. Wade to begin with. When you have a Supreme Court that substitutes its own judgment for the will of the legislatures, ergo the people of the varying states, of the several states, you get judgments that read more like federal legislation than actual interpretation of the Constitution. You can make a very strong argument that what the court did today here in Wisconsin is exactly what the court did in Roe v. Wade more than 50 years ago. It actually took over the role of the legislature in crafting legislation rather than simply interpreting the Constitution and the law. There is no way to interpret what a Republican legislature did with a 20-week abortion ban as fully replacing the full ban on abortion unless you want it to be so. In fact, at no point in this ruling does the court ever do any real legal analysis of the doctrine of implied repeal. They merely say, well, it's repealed. The real star of this ruling, however, is the writer of one of the dissents, not Hagedorn, who actually with each dissent, he's very good at writing dissents. He has a troubling pattern, or at least did when he was the swing vote on this court, of siding with the libs. But he is very, very good at breaking when he actually does constitutional analysis, like, a jurist is supposed to. He's very, very good. The very best dissent, possibly that has been written this year, was by Justice Rebecca Bradley, utterly taking down the majority, and also a concurring opinion by Justice Jill Karofsky, which uses the phrase pregnant people instead of women, not once, not twice, but 3 times. This might be a dissent even better than Amy Coney Barrett's takedown of KBJ. You got to hear this when we come back.
Radio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is back in Vegas.
T-Mobile Arena.
September 19th and 20th, streaming live only on Hulu. 15 artists, 2 nights, 1 stage. Get tickets now at AXS.com.
Capital One is the proud presenting partner of iHeartRadio Music Festival, bringing great products, rewards, and services to its customers. What's in your wallet?
We all know the importance of good daily habits, whether it's getting your steps in, stretching those limbs, or eating right. Doing it on the regular is key. That's why if you're dealing with everyday aches and pain, it's time to bring Relief Factor into your routine. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a special formula of 4 natural ingredients. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So call 1-800-4-RELIEF and try their 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Simply call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, don't let it keep you from living the life you want. Make Relief Factor part of your daily routine. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Bob from Redefined Realty here. I'd written my own ads for 20 years.
Creative genius. Here. Same. Well, Inet's ads and 100 other businesses' ads.
Writing your own ads, you kind of get stuck repeating the same message. Different words, but the same perspective.
Before introducing Easy Home Bidder, Bob came to Inet to brand his brainchild, MLS Listing Backed by Auction. It's brilliant. MLS guarantees the home is found. Auction guarantees the highest sale price. Period.
Inet branded it, wrote our story, knocked our marketing out of the park. When you think of selling your home, you know MLS and auction together is the right choice.
Redefined also benefits from unparalleled radio buying power, industry influence, and extracurricular enhancement of being part of the Inet community. More than 1,000 businesses working together for each other's successes.
Websites, branding, design, video, and radio. Inet is improving the economy one business at a time.
InetDishWeb.com.
CreativeGeniusMarketing.com.
Buyers, sellers, real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Michael Hupy. Please join me at the lakefront on July 3rd for this year's drone show. Last year, I was disappointed, along with 100,000 others, when we didn't get to see a fireworks show. I was determined to help bring something back for the community this year. While the decision was made to have a drone show instead of fireworks, I proudly stepped up as the presenting sponsor to help make it happen. Come out, bring your family, and enjoy an amazing night at the lakefront on July 3rd.
Strong schools make strong communities, and homeowners help pay for them through property taxes. But families and seniors are overwhelmed by skyrocketing property taxes. If lawmakers don't fund schools in this state budget, your property taxes will increase. We all want great schools, but rising property taxes are burying homeowners. Tell lawmakers, fund schools, don't bury homeowners. Visit buriedbypropertytaxes.org to learn more. Paid for by the Wisconsin Homeowners Alliance.
Divergent Family Law offers free consultations for divorce and flat rate quotes so you can make informed decisions about your next steps. Our experienced attorneys are committed to helping you understand your rights and options. Your fair share or better, divergentfamilylaw.com.
I'm Art Flater of Central Office Systems. Any business can be brought to its knees by thieves and IT IT hackers.
Chris Rozecki here. The IT guy you've known since high school doesn't have the resources to protect your organization.
Central Office Systems is the small business IT company that understands cyber with resources to back up your network.
Does your team work outside the hours of 8 to 5? Does your IT company do the same without nickel and diming you? Central Office Systems. No nickeling, no diming.
You hear those injured ads? Cameras with good resolution working properly cut down on injuries. Cameras deter thieves. Cameras deter scammers. Cameras that work.
With Central Office Systems Managed Network Support, a qualified technician grateful for the opportunity to solve your issue answers the phone within 1 minute.
Camera systems, network security, network support.
Have insurance? Will that satisfy your customers while your company's crucial business functions are zero for a week or two? Real Insurance is utilizing an IT service provider who secures your computers from ever going down.
CentralOfficeSystems.com.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app. Powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, we're going to do a little tribute to the good old US of A. A lot of people, mostly on the left, as we established earlier this week, based on the new Gallup poll, do not believe that America is the greatest place on earth. They're no longer proud to be Americans. In fact, Democrats say only 36% of them are either very proud or extremely proud to be an American, compared with 93% of Republicans. People say, well, you know what, the United States, we don't excel. We're not a great nation anymore. In fact, we are statistically, objectively the greatest nation on earth. I can prove it. Also, no fireworks again in Milwaukee this year, but one man stepped up to give us something tomorrow night. And I think that something is going to be very, very cool. Milwaukee's very first drone show, the driving force behind it, attorney Michael Hupy, great friend of the Dan O'Donnell Show. Little known fact, actually graduated from law school with both my mom and my dad. He will join us at about 5:06, and we'll round out the show with a tribute. Do you know that we are marking today, July 2nd, a significant anniversary, the second day of the Battle of Gettysburg, which produced quite possibly the single greatest speech ever given by an American, the Gettysburg Address. Did you also know it was just a regular guy from Wisconsin who fired the very first shot of that battle? The battle that turned the tide of the Civil War and helped preserve liberty in these United States. We will tell that story as a tribute to generations of everyday Americans who make this country what it is. I am so excited for the 5 o'clock hour. It is going to be a lot of fun. Would you believe that Justice Rebecca Bradley, in her dissent to the state Supreme Court's abortion ruling today, very likely delivered an even better rebuke than Amy Coney Barrett did in the majority opinion, where she just slaughtered liberal Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. This was all the talk of social media over the past couple of days. KBJ actually included in her dissent the phrase, "wait for it," and said, well, what they wrote is just a bunch of legalese that I don't really have time to write. Coney Barrett wrote the legal equivalent, the judicial equivalent of the question, how did you ever manage to pass the bar, in her takedown of Jackson's dissent. Justice Jill Karofsky, liberal, who voted with the majority, wrote a concurring opinion in which She, without a hint of irony, wrote this paragraph. I join the majority because it aptly analyzes the law and explains why the statute no longer applies to abortion in this state. And I tell the stories of Amber, Candy, Jocelyn, and my great-grandmother Julia to remind us that severe abortion restrictions operate like death warrants. Under such restrictions, women, children, and pregnant people are denied life-saving medical care while medical professionals are forced to sit idly at their bedsides, unable to do their jobs. She, honest to goodness, told stories of women who were unable to get legal abortions. And she apparently wanted her own great-grandmother to abort her entire bloodline. Rather odd thing to admit, but no one ever said the libs were sane. I will not offer my opinion on whether I thought Jill Karofsky's great-grandmother should have aborted a child who would one day go on to sire a parent of Jill Karofsky. That's a little bit too much of the would you go back in time and kill Hitler thing. I'm just not doing it. She apparently wishes she had never been born. Like, do we have, sort of in Back to the Future, we have a picture of all of Jill Karofsky's relatives and they're slowly disappearing because of her wish that great-grandma would have just aborted the whole lot of them? I think about this through logically. Jill, please, Booby, Justice Karofsky. Just unreal. Justice Rebecca Bradley, who is just a phenomenal writer and has an acerbic wit, uncorked this doozy of a 2-paragraph missive in her excellent dissent. The majority erases a law it does not like, making 4 lawyers sitting on the state's highest court more powerful than the people's representatives in the legislature. Any remaining doubt over whether the majority's decisions are motivated by the policy predilections of its members has been extinguished by its feeble attempt to justify a raw exercise of political power. The majority not only does violence to a single statute, it defies the people's sovereignty. Not content with effacing the law, Chief Justice Jill Karofsky rewrites history, erases and insults women by referring to mothers as pregnant people, slanders proponents of the pro-life perspective, and broadcasts dangerously false narratives about laws restricting abortion. Laden with emotion, steeped in myth, and light on the law, the concurrence reads as a parody of progressive politics rather than the opinion of a jurist. If this were the old Mortal Kombat video game, you would hear a voice that says, Justice Bradley wins. Fatality. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Conservative thought, not just talk. We're coming right back in just a second.
When the temperature goes up, so do your expenses. More sunscreen, mist fans, and ice-cold adult beverages. Supplement your income by playing the nationwide Sizzlin' Summer Cash Contest 9 times each weekday. Listen for a keyword to enter at newstalk1130.com, and you could win $1,000.
That would cover my beer tab at Summerfest, maybe. The Sizzlin' Summer Cash Contest is presented by 13 North Kitchen and Cocktails on the river in Grafton. Bold flavors from scratch, exceptional service, relaxed atmosphere. 13NorthGrafton.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you in Waukesha, Milwaukee, Muskego, Brookfield, Heartland, Cedarburg, and their Waukesha Fleet and Specialty location. If you have a business with a multi-vehicle fleet, Mander is the place to go because their team understands you can't have a vehicle out of service for a while, so they work quickly and efficiently to get you back on the road and serving your customers as fast as possible through expedited fleet repairs. Mander has been serving their customers and their community for well over 20 years, and they know that the key is expert workmanship and fast turnaround times combined with the sort of customer service that you'll only find at a family-owned local business like Mander. Start your repair today at mandercollision.com and find out for yourself why Mander truly is your best decision after a collision.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. Charged with an OWI, it's not just a ticket. It's on your record permanently and can affect your career or your ability to travel. One mistake shouldn't ruin your life. Contact Grieve Law for your OWI defense. GrieveLaw.com.
An auction to sell your house? And it includes a 2.99% full service MLS listing? Come on. Put simply, the absolute best way to sell your home is a Redefined Realty MLS listing enhanced by the EasyHomeBidder.com auction bidding platform. You get max profits and minimal contingencies. Buyers and sellers both love winning at auction. Traditional real estate agents put houses on MLS, then talk sellers into accepting offers. It's always been done that way. While buyers can still make a traditional offer, auctions powered by EasyHomeBidder.com allow every interested party to compete for your home through MLS and at auction on your terms. Sellers never lose a penny again. Dorothy's Ruby Slippers would not have sold for $28 million without an auction. Similarly, the maximum price of your home will only be achieved at auction. Traditional real estate agents sell ordinary MLS services. Redefines mentors of winning, enhance the home selling process combining auction and MLS. RedefinedRealty.com. Buyers win, sellers win. Real estate's future is now. Real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
Strong schools make strong communities, and homeowners help pay for them through property taxes. But families and seniors are overwhelmed by skyrocketing property taxes. If lawmakers don't fund schools in this state budget, your property taxes will increase. We all want great schools, but rising property taxes are burying homeowners. Tell lawmakers, fund schools, don't bury homeowners. Visit buriedbypropertytaxes.org to learn more. Paid for by the Wisconsin Homeowners Alliance.
For superior carpet cleaning, hire a company with over 75 years of experience that will get the job done right the first time. Always clean, always on time. Edelman.
Edelman Carpet, Furniture, and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again. Edelman.
I'm Victor Harding, a true trial attorney at Warshevsky Law. You've heard our advertising for years. While it's been effective introducing Warshevsky to injured people in need of maximum judgments and settlements, most of our clients come from personal referral. Referrals from former clients grateful for the settlement or trial judgment Warshevsky won on their behalf. Thus, they're recommending us to friends and family. Referrals from people in the community, including other lawyers and judges who want to make sure their friends and family are taken care of. Still not sure? Ask around. Warshevsky is referred by Wisconsin law enforcement officers who've seen Warshevsky attorneys in action, desperate to make sure friends and family receive just compensation. Insurance adjusters, often our adversaries, refer their family members hurt in accidents. They know the work we do. They all refer Warshevsky because big case or small, we can help. If someone you love is injured, please let them know, because at the end of their ordeal, their injury is about the money. Warshevsky.com.
Jay here. I love hearing about how satisfied customers are with Engine and Transmission Exchange. Carolyn says she was very pleased from the first call that she placed. She says, professionals you can trust. I highly recommend them for any services they offer. Yep. And ETE's people really will go over and above for you, especially when parts aren't immediately available. Aaron needed a new transmission and says, I was told 10 days, but they got it done in 4. They had one on hand. Well, I should hope so. Engine and Transmission Exchange also has a huge factory business that rebuilds transmissions back to factory specs or better and then ships them across the entire country. Vince and his team have great connections that they can find your parts. You simply can't put a price on the sort of experience, honesty, and integrity you'll encounter at ETE. All of your work is done by ASC certified technicians, and they'll only do what needs to be done, and they'll do it right. With locations on South 27th Street in Milwaukee and West Avenue in Waukesha, they have easy drop-off and pickup times, and they'll work around your busy schedule. Check out EngineTrans.com. EngineTrans.com. It's Engine and Transmission Exchange.
Injured? Call Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Enjoy the long weekend with Casey Kasem and Classic American Top 40.
Hello again and welcome to American Top 40. My name's Casey Kasem and here comes our special year-end survey.
All weekend, it's every year-end countdown in order and commercial-free, plus the very first AT40 show from July 4th, 1970.
I'm Casey Kasem with the number one song of the year.
Just open the free iHeart app, search Classic AT40, and make it a preset now.
Thank you to loyal listener Antonio for pointing out that we were, for some reason, not streaming on Instagram. We just started on the gram. I try to reach the kids, where they are. Facebook is for old people, I am told by my 14-year-old. And in fact, with the high school soccer team that I coach for indoor soccer, they said, Coach Dan, you need to get on Snapchat so you can communicate with us. I said, guys, I am not going to be on a Snapchat group with a bunch of 16-year-old boys. We're going to use iMessage or text. Some of the kids on the team, they won the state baseball championship. And one boy I've been coaching, very, very dear friend, Josh, I texted, congratulations, buddy. I'm so proud of you. Didn't hear back. I'm fairly certain and confirmed by my son, he never checks his messages. All the communication is just done via Snapchat. If I can figure out how to live stream on Snapchat, that's the one where the messages disappear so the parents can't see them. Apparently you can set, like, kids use Snapchat like you and I use texting. Texting is apparently for the olds, or as they say, the unks. Did you know if you are called unk by a kid, that is kind of a sign of respect, but kind of not. It's short for uncle. It is slang for uncle. I am now an unk because I'm on X and Facebook. But I'm trying to remain hip with the kids by being on the gram. So thanks to Antonio for pointing this out. Loyal viewer on Instagram at Dan O'Donnell Show there if you are not following me. Yes, I am wearing an Uncle Sam costume. I guess I am literally an unk right now. I am Unk Sam. And I don't know. It's the last show before the 4th of July. I always like to get dressed up. And no, I am going to be doing a different costume this year. Every year I try to bust out a 4th of July costume. I MC some stuff around Southeast Wisconsin, and it's like a kiddie games, kids parade. The kids always seem to like it. The parents line up for pictures with the kids. Like last year I just wore a red, white, and blue suit. A couple of years ago, I was Alexander Hamilton from the play Hamilton. I was Washington, Uncle Sam a few years ago. This year, well, we'll have to see. I'll post pictures, of course. Always love the 4th of July. Well, the Supreme Court finally did it here in Wisconsin. Women were suffering so badly. Justice Jill Karofsky told their story. She is the Chief Justice. I forgot about this. I should give respect where it is due. Did you know? I did not know this. Jill Karofsky is an avid runner. She is a loving wife, and she was also at one time a pregnant person. She has several children. That makes her we are very proud. She is an inseminated person. Oh, I'm sorry. Does that sound disrespectful? She literally used the phrase pregnant people in her dissenting opinion, which is hilarious. As Justice Bradley put it in her dissent, or excuse me, in Karofsky's concurrence, she said, laden with emotion, steeped in myth, and light on the law, the concurrence reads as a parody of progressive politics rather than the opinion of a jurist. And then Bradley actually goes point by point and just obliterates. It is like Justice Karofsky is an Iranian nuclear facility and Rebecca Bradley is flying above. in a B2, just dropping bombs in every paragraph, taking out everything that Karofsky tried to say. I mean, Karofsky is laughably bad at this. At least Protasewicz she didn't even attempt a concurring opinion. Karofsky, and I am actually shocked that these ladies did not allow Ann Walsh Bradley to write this opinion. How checked out must Ann Walsh Bradley be that she didn't even get to write the opinion that would immortalize her as the woman who brought back abortion rights for the women of Wisconsin? But don't you think it's weird, ladies and gentlemen, that this court has controlled the majority? The lawsuit, Call v. Urmansky, that finally was decided today, was actually filed almost immediately after Roe v. Wade was overturned in June of 2022. The court has been in liberal hands since August of 2023. It's now July 2nd, 2025. What the heck took them so long? Women were getting back alley abortions. My goodness, Justice Karofsky highlighted the stories of ladies who died. Her great-grandmother nearly died. And Karofsky desperately wanted to not be born by having her great-grandmother just abort every single child that she was inseminated with. Oh, I'm sorry. Does that sound disrespectful? Your governor refers to women as inseminated persons. So you'd better believe I will refer to Justice Jill Karofsky's inseminated great-grandmother. But we were told this is the single most important issue facing women. They don't have access to health care. Nay, they don't have autonomy over their own bodies because they can't abort as many kids as Karofsky wanted her great-grandmother to. If this was so urgent, why did the court wait 2 years? More importantly, why did the court wait 3 statewide election cycles? Because that would be the better question. These are political actors. These are not jurists in any meaningful sense of the phrase. They saw how effective the abortion attack, women's rights, and so forth was in the midterms of 2022. They wanted that to continue to be an issue in 2024 for the presidential race. Then again, in 2025 for the state Supreme Court race. They absolutely wanted this to be a wedge issue yet again that could be used as a political bludgeon against Republicans. Well, now that issue is off the table. And by the way, abortions have been performed since a Dane County Circuit Court judge first suggested that the abortion law, which is titled abortion in the state statutes, doesn't actually deal with abortion, but rather feticide, which is the killing of an unborn child by someone other than the mother someone other than a mother, other than a doctor. It would be like if you stabbed a pregnant woman and killed the unborn child. You are charged with feticide. The woman survives, the mother survives. Feticide would be the only problem. The statute that is titled abortion, that the court has pretended doesn't actually deal with abortion, has been used to prosecute abortions. And the feticide statute has never actually been used. Do you know what we actually charge people with when they kill an unborn child? This totally blows a hole in the left's narrative, clump of cells and so forth. We charge them with murder. We charge them with the murder of an unborn human being. It would seem to imply that the law recognizes that an unborn human being is an unborn human being. That said, this ruling is undoubtedly politically very good for Republicans because they are no longer subject to the attack that they want to and are continuing to keep women from having the abortions that they apparently so desperately need. The political reality is unfortunate. Way more people in this country want legalized abortion than don't. That's a reality. We can pretend that that reality doesn't exist. It doesn't change it. But political reality and political preference to get to a Supreme Court ruling is never something that should be abided. Frankly, I'm not planning on having any abortions anytime soon. I don't know if you are. Now, producer Jeff's like 6 years older than I am. I don't know. You aborting anybody this week? Nah. Your aborting days are long gone. I got 3 kids, man. One of them before my wife and I were married. Clearly, you know where I stand on this issue. But just because I am pro-life doesn't mean that my political or personal preference takes the place of actual judicial analysis, actual constitutional review. If I were to find myself on an appellate court or a district court, my personal preference is totally irrelevant. The Supreme Court, in trying to use the doctrine of implied repeal to strike down Wisconsin's abortion law by pretending it doesn't actually deal with abortion, they're simply substituting their own personal preference. Much more troublingly, like the court in Roe v. Wade, they're acting as a super legislature, not just legislating from the bench, but operating as both the judiciary and the legislature. We have 3 equal branches of government, not one that's far more powerful than the other 2. But unfortunately, that's what we have here in Wisconsin. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. We may have to punt on the unhinged liberal of the day because, punt it to the next hour. We're definitely doing it, but it takes some setting up.
From the Lynch Buick GMC of West Bend Total Traffic Center.
Northbound 4145, you got a crash on the entrance ramp from Burleigh, only partially blocking. 43 southbound past Locust, you got an accident off to the right shoulder. Delays from Brown Deer to Silver Spring. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Stay connected when it matters most. Be prepared with Rapid Radio's walkie-talkies. With instant push-to-talk and LTE nationwide coverage, you can reach family and friends in any emergency. 100% private, no contracts, no hassle.
Stay safe. Order now at rapidradios.com.
Bo, you know why I smile like I just don't care?
Because you have a Ross Dental straight smile, Mila?
Partially, but...
Because you have a Ross Dental healthy smile?
It's that and...
I know. Because when you go to Ross Dental, it's like seeing family friends.
Of course, all that, but put simply, because I don't.
A pain-free smile is easy.
Ross Dental, New Berlin, and Waukesha.
Our mission? Your comfort, health, and confidence. Smile like you just don't care, because you don't. RossDentalWI.com.
The Census Bureau says more than 12,000 Americans turn 65 each day. It's a surge they call Peak 65, the highest number in history. Some Annex clients retire early. Some keep working because they love it. You know why? Because they've got custom plans built by fee-only fiduciaries. They identified their wants and needs, and we went to work. We want to do the same for you. Annex does financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Visit AnnexWealth.com and click the Get Started button.
Warshawski trial attorney Frank Crivello here.
Folks, I'm Victor Harding. Frank is selected Best Lawyers 2024 Complex Litigation Lawyer of the Year.
More impressive is Victor Harding named Product Liability Attorney of the Year again for 2024.
It may sound boastful to mention these prestigious awards.
It's not boastful considering if you or someone you love is injured, you need to know 2 attorneys from the same personal injury firm being chosen by other lawyers and judges for these caliber of awards is very rare.
Heaven forbid you ever need an injury claim made on your behalf. If you do, the quality of your attorney and law firm will have a greater impact on the outcome than even the facts of your case.
Former clients, other lawyers, judges, law enforcement officers, and even insurance adjusters,
often our adversaries,
refer their family and friends to Warshawski because they know Warshawski will achieve maximum compensation.
Injured? It is about the money.
Warshawski.com.
That's Warshawski.com.
I'm Kelly Lammert from Clean Living Environments.
Virtually everyone who cleans ducts repairs and sells air conditioners, furnaces, water heaters, or whatever. Duct cleaning is secondary. Clean Living Environments, partners for your comfort and health and your economy. Our superior agitation, high power suction gets more of everything you don't want in ducts out than suction alone can. We're happy with a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. We charge less for superior duct cleaning. Once ducts are Clean Living Environments clean, our ducts-only technicians can seal them. Neighboring states give $500 energy bill credits for existing homeowners who have ducts sealed because sealing saves natural gas waste forever, helping heated or cooled air get where it's supposed to be. If you've been quoted for duct cleaning, I personally guarantee Clean Living Environments will get more out of your ducts, charging less. With natural gas prices skyrocketing upward, Clean Living Environments AeroSeal duct cleaning is a prudent, long-term home budget saver. Get more out of your ducts. CleanLivingEnvironments.com. That's cleanlivingenvironments.com.
I'm Dan Voss from Cut and Go. Ugly and depressing and trees killed off by emerald ash, oak wilt, and Dutch elm disease are dangerous for friends and loved ones, even a potential liability. Slowly rotting, left-standing hardwood trees can weigh tens of thousands of pounds. Even seemingly smaller branches can weigh tens, even hundreds of pounds. With Cut and Go, there is no reason to risk injury or property damage. Live trees in precarious placement for an arborist to remove over homes, garages, commercial buildings, luxury landscapes are easily and safely laid on the ground by Cut and Go's NCCER crane-operated certified remote control automobile mounted articulating crane grapple saw operators. You can save big money and stock up on firewood by having Cut and Go put your trees on the ground for you to clean up or have a bonfire or split firewood, or we can take it all with us when we leave. A Tons of Trees movement. cutandgotrees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com. Once again, that's cutandgotrees.com.
Strong schools make strong communities, and homeowners help pay for them through property taxes. But families and seniors are overwhelmed by skyrocketing property taxes. If lawmakers don't fund schools in this state budget, your property taxes will increase. We all want great schools, but rising property taxes are burying homeowners. Tell lawmakers, fund schools, don't bury homeowners. Visit buriedbypropertytaxes.org to learn more. Paid for by the Wisconsin Homeowners Alliance.
Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Store, Street and Door.
We are going to push the unhinged liberal of the day to the top of the 4 o'clock hour because, frankly, I can't do it in a minute and a half. It has a bit of a backstory. For those of you who have been following the saga of the nut from the Minocqua Brewing Company, this one took quite the turn over the past couple of days, and I want to tell it in all of its glory. After the top of the hour, we will, of course, get you the daily Trump date. Where do we stand with the one big, beautiful bill? We'll talk to Congressman Derek Van Orden at 4:25. I'm going to have to shift things around. I was also going to talk with Senate President Mary Felskowski about the deal that was reached on the state budget. And see, this is why I don't do a whole lot of interviews, because we did 3 yesterday. It just kind of worked out like that. And I spent all day just kind of juggling schedules. Now, obviously, with the votes, we have to play fast and loose with Congressman Van Orden because they're voting right now. He may need to go into caucus, things like that. So we'll play it by ear. So we'll see what's going on. I do have a great text from a loyal listener here who says the greatest speech was not uttered by Lincoln, but rather President Thomas J. Whitmore on July 4th, 1996. See if you can get the reference. We'll be right back.
Programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. Listen to Benjamin Yount, weekday mornings 9 to 11 on News Talk 1130 WISN Milwaukee. And make WISN the #1 preset on your car radio and on the new iHeart app. Free never sounded so good.
Good afternoon, I'm Dave Michaels. School funding took center stage during the state budget debate on the floor of the Wisconsin Senate this afternoon. Milwaukee Democrat Chris Larson.
Our kids are valued less now than they were 16 years ago, adjusting for inflation. So to make up for that, you would need $3,380 per pupil to be able to make up that gap.
Meanwhile, Delafield Republican Chris Kapiga argued that K-12 education is suffering due to administrative bloat.
If you look at what DPI is teaching the teachers right now, it's not how to read better or how to write better. It's, well, let's teach Jimmy, what's your sex, Jimmy? What do you feel like today? It's a joke.
Assuming the budget passes in the Senate, then would go next to the state assembly. The 4 o'clock business report brought to you by the Good Feed store. The Dow down today, 10 points. The NASDAQ gained 187 while the S&P rose 28. Checking the Holiday Automotive Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard, Freddie Peralta gets the win in Game 1 of the Brewers doubleheader with the Mets this afternoon, 7-2. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Partly sunny and warm this afternoon with temperatures in the upper 80s. Slight chance for an evening storm north of Milwaukee, then clearing tonight with lows in the upper 60s. Mid to upper 80s again Thursday with a slight chance for storms in the afternoon. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barrichello.
This report is sponsored by Club Car Wash and ClubCarWash.com.
Right now is the best time to get to Club Car Wash and get an unlimited membership for $10 a month for 3 months. Offer ends soon, so get to Club Car Wash in Sussex on Executive Drive across from Meyer on Lisbon. For more details, visit in store or online at clubcarwash.com.
We all know the importance of good daily habits, whether it's getting your steps in, stretching those limbs, or eating right. Doing it on the regular is key. That's why if you're dealing with everyday aches and pain, it's time to bring Relief Factor into your routine. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a special formula of 4 natural ingredients. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So call 1-800-4-RELIEF and try their 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Simply call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, don't let it keep you from living the life you want. Make Relief Factor part of your daily routine. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Southbound 43 from Brown Deer to the Marquette taking 15 minutes. Crash off to the right shoulder past Locust. 94 westbound from the Marquette out to Moreland. Another 13 slowing to Mitchell Boulevard. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
Hello world, wake me up to another good morning, time to go.
Hey, it's Jerry Butt. You know that feeling you get when you realize you're dealing with a company that cares about you, not just as a customer, but as a person? That's the overwhelming feeling I got when I bought my vehicle at Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac. The Holiday staff was attentive, patient, totally engaged, and they listened. That inspires confidence, and confidence inspires trust.
Connect with Holiday's summer road trip sale. Score enticing offers and get more for your trade on a new Chevrolet, Buick, or GMC.
Oh, we are all looking for adventure.
Come be our guest. Take a test drive and get ready to travel the road ahead. Find yours and discover the difference at Holiday.
Living free, and I was meant to be free. Meant to be free.
Holiday Automotive, Fond du Lac, and at holidaygm.com.
It's worth the trip.
Get in on Brewers and Nationals action July 11th through the 13th. Celebrate with the crew at the Negro Leagues tribute game on the 11th and get a 90s throwback jersey on the 12th. Get your seats now at brewers.com.
Strong schools make strong communities, and homeowners help pay for them through property taxes. But families and seniors are overwhelmed by skyrocketing property taxes. If lawmakers don't fund schools in this state budget, your property taxes will increase. We all want great schools, but rising property taxes are burying homeowners. Tell lawmakers, fund schools, don't bury homeowners. Visit buriedbypropertytaxes.org to learn more. Paid for by the Wisconsin Homeowners Alliance.
If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain, and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Their physicians specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center. See orthowisconsin.com.
your home cleaning friend. It's Edelman again. Edelman.
Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN. The talk shows on WISN Radio. Not for the faint of heart and not for the feeble of mind. News Talk 1130 WISN. Fact is, until you've heard us, you haven't heard the whole story.
4 o'clock hour. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show, and the 4 o'clock hour was the only one yesterday. We did not have a nationwide winner in our Sizzlin' Summer Cash Contest. How about we get a 4 o'clock winner today? A reminder, we are going to be playing tomorrow and the 4th of July on Friday, even though we will have special Independence Day programming throughout the day on WISN and also, I believe, WIBA. We are not going to have regular programming. You will not hear the Dan O'Donnell Show. I'm actually okay with that. I would love to do just 3 straight hours of patriotic programming with the Dan O'Donnell cruise this year, so close to the 4th of July, and with, frankly, my knee issues acting up. I wanted to put together a specialty program, just doing patriotic stuff, stories from history, that sort of thing. I did one a couple of years ago, but with the trips, I just haven't been able to over the past couple of years, and maybe next year we'll do a special 1 hour themed program that'll air on the 4th of July. And I believe since the 4th of July next year is going to be Saturday, the 3rd of July will be the holiday. So we'll probably do specialty programming there as well. But frankly, I'm okay with 4-day weekend. We actually traded Juneteenth for the 3rd of July. Since Juneteenth was on a Thursday this year, it is a federal holiday, and it is a company holiday for iHeartMedia. Our fearless leader, Jerry Bott, said, well, many people are still working on Juneteenth. How about a deal for you guys? You work Juneteenth, and I give you off July 3rd instead of a random Thursday. I was in Norway, so I said, yeah, I'll take Juneteenth having to work while cruising, getting a massage, drinking mimosas. Yeah, man, it's a real rat race out there. Sizzlin' Summer Cash Contest word this hour is grand. GRANT. Grand. You have got until 55 past the hour to go to our website, enter the keyword grand to win a grand on the Dan O'Donnell Show as part of our Sizzlin' Summer Cash Contest. If you'd like to join the show, you know the phone number, you know the email address, you know the social media. Be sure to check out the Dan O'Cam at Dan O'Donnell Show everywhere. Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube. I do have a special themed 4th of July outfit. I'm not Uncle Sam, I guess. Unc Sam, as the kids call it. Unc, you see. I'm Unc. I can't wait to do this one. We're gonna hit pause on the Daily Trump Date, because this is a very special 4th of July themed Unhinged Liberal of the Day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
Today's Unhinged Liberal of the Day is Kirk Bangstad. In case you don't know who he is, he owns the Minocqua Brewing Company. He's basically the Bill Penzie of the Northwoods. At least Penzie runs a business. Bangstad runs a money laundering operation for the Democrat Party that masquerades as a brewing company. Near as I can tell, he brews beer in order to raise money for Democrats. He's also completely and totally nuts. He was actually arrested on Friday on charges of harassment, bail jumping, and disorderly conduct. This stems from a long-time feud that Bangstad has had with the publisher and owner of the Lakeland Times, Greg Walker. Greg Walker's business is unfortunately located right across the street from Bangstad's brewing company. At around 5 o'clock on Friday evening, Walker called police that Bangstad and a few of the other people who were gathered at the brewery were harassing him and yelling profanities at him while he was at his business. A witness interviewed by the officer said Kirk and the crowd were yelling every curse word in existence at Greg. Okay. Bangstad said this was not just a drunken rant at Greg Walker, but rather a political speech and beer tasting event on Friday when Walker came out of the Lakeland Times building, which is across the street from the brewery. Bangstad said he started talking to the people at the brewery about Walker and said they weren't threatening him, they were protesting him. Now, you might remember Bangstad has had several judgments against him, one for defamation of Walker, because, again, Bangstad is nuts. So how is he taking this latest legal setback? Not well. Kirk has decided that since he couldn't yell profanities at some dude with a bunch of other drunken slobs at his brewery, nobody in Minocqua will be allowed to have a 4th of July parade. He is planning to take his band of crazies to disrupt the thing on Friday. Here's the message that he posted on TikTok today.
We will be holding a protest on 4th of July in Minocqua, Wisconsin to disrupt or stop the 4th of July parade in Minocqua. We are protesting the unfair and illegal arrest and jailing of my customers and myself last Friday. And we are asking that the town of Minocqua, demanding that the town of Minocqua and Oneida County stop harassing my company, stop harassing my customers. And we're asking that Sheriff Grady Hartman apologize to my customers for intimidation and false imprisonment.
They're demanding an end to the illegal activity by the police department for arresting him for harassing a dude that a witness said was being screamed at by an unruly mob. And now that same unruly mob is going to try to stop the 4th of July parade from happening. Do I have that right? Okay. And this is all illegal because Kirk Bangstad should be allowed to scream profanities at whomever he wants, including in the Minocqua parade, which presumably will feature a whole lot of Minocqua police officers marching and riding in. I'll tell you what, Kirk can be part of the parade, and he can even be in the parade. He'll just be doing it while cuffed, hopefully roughed up a little bit, and in the back of a squad car. Kirk Bangstad is your unhinged liberal of the day. I told you this one was worth waiting for. Did I not, ladies and gentlemen? Did I not? This guy makes Bill Penzie look like Socrates with some of the stuff he writes on Facebook. I am so glad he has discovered TikTok so we can now have some fun with sound bites of Kirk Bangstad. I'm telling you, this guy, Bill Penzie, is like the sober yin compared to this idiot's raging yang. All right, before the break, I asked a question just to see how many people would get this reference. We had a loyal listener text in. I had said that the Gettysburg Address by Lincoln, which is less than 2 minutes, about 260 some words. I believe 262 words I heard today. I'll have to fact check that. We had a wonderful group, a wonderful family in for a tour of the station today. The Knopf family came. It was actually my mother's, we don't call them the boyfriend because they're of a certain age. They don't like to be called boyfriend, girlfriend. So we say my mom's man friend and his wonderful son, Chris, and his family and in-laws. They're all in for Omaha, Nebraska for the 4th of July. They wanted to take a tour of the radio station. So I gave them one. We were walking around, had fun. And Chris's father-in-law said the Gettysburg Address is just 262 words, if you can believe that. I'm not actually sure how many words it is. Can we get a word count on that, producer Jeff? I think it is 272. I'm sorry, he was off by 10. It's 272 words. It, of course, begins with one of the more famous phrases in American history. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. That's just utter poetry. Utter poetry. But I had a listener text in and say that the greatest American speech was actually uttered on July 4th, 1996 by President Thomas J. Whitmore. We should have like Summerfest tickets or something for the first person who gets that reference. You get it? You're a child of the 90s. Bro, do you even pop culture? President Thomas Whitmore, about to launch the greatest air battle that the world had ever seen, deploying not just Jeff Goldblum, but also Will Smith. You bet. Let's go to break with one of the greatest speeches in American history. Here's Bill Pullman as President Whitmore from the 1996 classic Independence Day.
In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world. And you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind. Mankind, that word should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interest. Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July, and you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not bend flesh without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
I'll tell you what, I'd fly a plane into an alien mothership for that, man. Dan O'Donnell Show coming right back.
From the Lynch GM Superstore in Burlington Total Traffic Center.
Greenfield crews on the scene of a crash southbound lanes of 108th at National. It's blocking two left lanes, causing a pretty hefty delay. East of there, 894 southbound slows from National down to the Hale interchange. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Lynch Automotive family of dealerships.
It's the summer savings event at the Lynch family of dealerships, and the deals are heating up. Take advantage of up to $10,000 off or 0% financing to approved credit on select models. Visit shoplynch.com today.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is back in Vegas.
T-Mobile Arena.
September 19th and 20th, streaming live only on Hulu. 15 artists, 2 nights, 1 stage. Get tickets now at AXS.com.
Capital One is the proud presenting partner of iHeartRadio Music Festival, bringing great products, rewards, and services to its customers. What's in your wallet?
Hi, I'm Willa Voss. I'm 8 years old. Mom and Dad own Cut and Go Tree Service. Yes, they did name me after a tree. Our family loves this country and the freedom it provides. Every morning, I look forward to starting the school day with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please say it along with me, even if you just say it in your mind. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. American patriots will enjoy a 5% discount for flying the American flag and mentioning this commercial when the Cut and Go remote control, automobile mounted, articulated crane, grapple saw operators are putting your dead trees on the ground or removing large branches that grew over something important. An all-American Tons of Trees movement, cutandgotrees.com. That's CUTNGOTREES.com.
Imagine your home totally organized. At Closets by Design, we specialize in providing affordable, custom-built storage solutions with built-ins and beyond. From walk-in closets to entertainment centers, our experienced designers work within your budget to design a solution fit perfectly to your needs. Get 40% off plus an additional 15% with 18-month financing. Visit closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get started. Let's get organized together.
Jay Weber here. If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Find them at orthowisconsin.com. At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, their physicians are committed to providing the highest quality of joint care and specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Strong schools make strong communities, and homeowners help pay for them through property taxes. But families and seniors are overwhelmed by skyrocketing property taxes. If lawmakers don't fund schools in this state budget, your property taxes will increase. We all want great schools, but rising property taxes are burying homeowners. Tell lawmakers, fund schools, don't bury homeowners. Visit buriedbypropertytaxes.org to learn more. Paid for by the Wisconsin Homeowners Alliance.
Blue Mountain Express.
This is Rick Vanderboom with Blue Mountain Express Moving and Storage, and we'll improve your move.
BlueMountainExpress.com. We will improve your move.
Blue Mountain Express Moving and Storage, statewide.
The Census Bureau says more than 12,000 Americans turn 65 each day. It's a surge they call Peak 65, the highest number in history. Some Annex clients retire early. Some keep working because they love it. You know why? Because they've got custom plans built by fee-only fiduciaries. They identified their wants and needs, and we went to work. We want to do the same for you. Annex does financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Visit AnnexWealth.com and click the Get Started button.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules. Make News Talk 1130 WISN your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app, powered by Group Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call,
That's all.
Celebrating America's independence and 249th birthday all week long here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. One of the greatest scenes of one of my favorite summer movies of all time, that was Independence Day, 1996 classic. Producer Jeff and I reminiscing. Did you see it in the theater? Yeah, you did? Yeah, everybody did. I was just shy of my 15th birthday. So, of course, I went to go see it with my buddies, and we were all pumped up. They go to Area 51, which, of course, a kid in the 90s was obsessed with, listening to Art Bell, reading the weekly world news. It was just a real fun. It's what summer movies are supposed to be. Just a really, really well done flick. Time now for your Daily Trump Take.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
A whole lot of winning for the Trump administration.
We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
It is your daily look back at all things in Trump world. We like to do it at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. I had to relay the Kirk Bangstad story because, frankly, it's just way too funny not to. Big news for the U.S. One of its big trade partners, a huge manufacturing hub, announced a trade deal. President Trump said the U.S. has reached an agreement with Vietnam, pulling off the administration's third significant deal ahead of that July 9th deadline. Trump wrote in a Truth Social post about a couple of hours ago, I just made a trade deal with Vietnam. In a subsequent post announcing more details, he said the U.S. will charge a 20% tariff for Vietnamese exports into America and a 40% tariff for transshipping. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said in a post on X, transshipping tariff means if another country sells their content through products exported by Vietnam to us, they'll get hit with a 40% tariff. What country do you think he's talking about? Clearly, this is aimed at China. There are still issues to be worked out with the Chinese deal, and July 9th remains that deadline. Meanwhile, it was a softer than expected jobs report, as jobs actually came in much lower than expected. Analysts expected 100,000 jobs gained. However, 33,000 jobs were lost. Private sector hiring unexpectedly contracted in June as private payrolls shed 33,000 jobs, according to the ADP report, first decrease since March of 2023. Economists polled by Dow Jones forecast an increase of 100,000 for the month. The May job growth figure revised even lower to just 29,000 jobs added from 37,000. Nonetheless, would you believe the market absolutely loved this? The S&P 500 closed at yet another record. It is up to 6,227. The NASDAQ was up nearly 1% as well, while the Dow was down just very slightly today, because this is seen as potentially prompting a move by Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell to actually get off his behind and cut interest rates, something that President Trump has been urging him to do. Of course, the biggest news in our daily Trump date today is that the House now has the one big, beautiful bill. After a day of procedural votes, it is believed that the House is going to take a vote on the final version that passed the Senate yesterday. Now that all House members are present, they are voting. There was an open vote. A procedural vote was taken, and We've had a couple of flips to yes. It does look like the bill, which is advancing now, is going to pass in a full floor vote, which would be a massive victory. We are hoping to talk with Congressman Derek Van Orden. He is, however, on the floor. As you could imagine, it is a very busy afternoon. I call this jury syndrome. You always get verdicts on Fridays, especially Friday afternoons. Do you know why? Because jurors want to go home. They don't want to work Saturday. They don't want to come back and work on a Monday with the case hanging over their heads all weekend. They want to get it done. Same thing applies to congressional representatives, which is why the president was so adamant about a vote before July 4th. He knew they wanted to get out of Dodge. We had Brian Stile, great congressman, on yesterday, and I asked him, so will we see you on the 4th of July parade circuit tomorrow, Congressman? He said, I'd much rather be in my district than in Washington, D.C. No real surprises there. The idea is that there would be a vote later today, this afternoon, probably more likely in the wee hours of the morning. So then all of the congressional representatives could catch flights back to their districts tomorrow. Yes, I am very jaded when it comes to these votes, that representatives really would be voting because they just want to get back home to their families for the 4th of July weekend. But this is politics in America. It is a reality. And I think the Trump administration, frankly, started winning on this when it said, look, this is the entire Trump agenda for the second term in this bill. We need to pass this to allow the Trump administration to keep doing the great work that it's been doing in the first 150 plus days. Hasn't the Trump administration been doing excellent work? Pretty much every senator in the Republican caucus said yes. And I think you're going to see there are going to be some holdouts, obviously Massey, who aren't going to vote for this thing. But I do think you might see a flip where we get a 2-vote instead of 1-vote majority passage. But everything that I'm seeing, everything that I'm hearing is very positive. It does seem like Congressman Van Orden is on the floor for a vote. So hopefully we'll hear from him later on in the show. You are listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. That, ladies and gentlemen, your daily Trump date.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Greenfield crews on the scene of a crash, southbound lanes of 108th at National. It's blocking 2 left lanes, causing a pretty hefty delay. East of there, 894 southbound slows from National down to the Hale Interchange. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Club Car Wash and ClubCarWash.com.
Right now is the best time to get to Club Car Wash and get an unlimited membership for $10 a month for 3 months. Offer ends soon, so get to Club Car Wash in Sussex on Executive Drive across from Meyer on Lisbon. For more details, visit in store or online at ClubCarWash.com.
Join the club. I'm attorney Tom Grieve, here to tell you about Grieve Civil Law. Life is unpredictable, but you can help your loved ones navigate dark days by preparing for the future now. Powers of attorney, wills, and trusts are all components to a robust estate plan that ensures your wishes are fulfilled. Do you think your estate is simple or should be executed using common sense? In many cases, the law cannot take into account how complicated families are. If you or your heirs are divorced, or if your heirs get divorced in the future, your assets may not go where you intend. Many people say that they will get a will, but they never get around to it. Their loved ones often pay for their lack of planning in the time and stress of probate, not to mention court fees. On top of their grief, they'll wrestle with red tape and resentment. Don't gamble your life's work. Don't gamble with your family's future. Protect your loved ones from legal battles. It's more than just a document, it's peace of mind. Contact Grieve Civil Law today, because tomorrow isn't guaranteed. GrieveCivilLaw.com.
After 23 years in business, our flat fee commission structure for selling a home is more innovative than ever. Paul Leby here with Lake Country Flat Fee. Real estate commissions have been under attack this past year, and it's a wonder why it's taken so long. We always knew commissions have been on the high side in this business, and we have strived to create a better model for selling a home. Our sellers save about 50% versus a traditional 6% broker. To learn more or to schedule a free market analysis, visit our website at lakecountryflatfee.com.
Bob built a brand over the same 20 years INET has. I bought multiple properties over those years. Bob gets real estate like I never will.
In real estate, every brokerage does the same thing. MLS. Adding auction bidding to MLS, I knew if INET branded it, told our story, home sellers would understand and accept this real estate revolutionizing platform.
You can be the best in your industry like Redefined Realty is. Even revolutionize your industry like Redefined Realty has with auction. Yet, it's your story that sells.
You can't tell your story as well as INET Creative Genius will tell your story.
Real Estate for Winners is exactly what Redefined Realty and auction has always been.
Steven knocked our brand and marketing out of the park.
Selling a home? If you don't use Redefine's MLS and auction platform, you'll leave closing with less money than you would have. Tragic and that simple.
Websites, branding, design, video, and radio. INET is improving marketing for winners.
INETJustWork.com.
CreativeGeniusMarketing.com.
Real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
Strong schools make strong communities, and homeowners help pay for them through property taxes. But families and seniors are overwhelmed by skyrocketing property taxes. If lawmakers don't fund schools in this state budget, your property taxes will increase. We all want great schools, but rising property taxes are burying homeowners. Tell lawmakers, fund schools, don't bury homeowners. Visit buriedbypropertytaxes.org to learn more. Paid for by the Wisconsin Homeowners Alliance.
Hey, it's Vicki McKenna. You probably think your 401k is safe, that it's growing, that it will be enough for your retirement. But what if it's not? Here's the truth. Your 401k was never designed to make you wealthy. It was built to shift risk from corporations to you, leaving your money exposed to market crashes, inflation, and uncertainty. But now Americans are taking back control with real assets like gold. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands protect their future by converting part of their retirement savings into physical gold so they can stop worrying about the market and start sleeping better at night. Talk to Noble Gold today and learn how safe and easy it is to roll over your 401k into a tax-advantaged gold IRA without penalties or headaches. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit, including a step-by-step guide to get started. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. It's time to get your money out of the danger zone and into something real.
We love to celebrate the 4th of July with family, friends, food, and fireworks. Please be safe this Independence Day weekend and don't drink and drive. From your friends at Gruber Law and iHeartMedia.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-611-3113. That's 800-611-3113.
Injured? Call Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Enjoy the long weekend with Casey Kasem and Classic American Top 40.
Hello again and welcome to American Top 40. My name's Casey Kasem and here comes our special year-end survey.
All weekend, it's every year-end countdown in order and commercial-free, plus the very first AT40 show from July 4th, 1970.
I'm Casey Kasem with the #1 song of the year.
Just open the free iHeart app, search Classic AT40, and make it a preset now.
Just a couple of days before the 4th of July, it does look like negotiations are furiously proceeding between members of the Trump administration and what I imagine are 6 hardliners or moderates or some combination of the two in the Republican Party, there was a procedural vote that passed 214 to 212 to advance the bill to the full House. Those 6 no votes, not voting no, but rather did not vote, signified to me every single Democrat voted no. All right. There was not one that voted present, not one that voted with the Republicans. So Democrats are very, very good at following orders. If there's one thing the libs are good at, this is why you always see them able to show up. At least if there's a protest that's thrown, you will have at least a couple of boomer libs that show up dutifully with their signs. Why? Because boomer libs have been protesting whatever they're told to protest since 1968. It's just what they do. Lib politicians fall in line. There is never any dissent. And one of the biggest reasons for that is because of what's going on with Senator John Fetterman. He dared to defy party leadership on the issue of, Jewish people being allowed to live. And they leaked to try to destroy his reputation. Big story in the New York Times, I believe. There was another one in the Huffington Post. There was a former staffer who said that Fetterman does not have all his mental faculties. Basically, he was like the president for the past 4 years. Notice how that story just sort of disappeared, by the way. Jake Tapper no longer doing these tell-all interviews to promote his book about the big cover-up of President Biden's declining mental health. They know what a massive scandal this is. If you ever go against party leadership, they will use their allies in the media to destroy you, and every single one of them knows it. Fetterman just doesn't seem to really care. This is why you never, ever get any defections from the Democrats. Very rare. They are allowed to defect. Say what you will about Thomas Massie of Kentucky. He does not fall in line, and same thing with Rand Paul. Must be something in the water there that these guys are true blue libertarians, or at least libertarian thinking. And for the record, I am largely with them on this bill's spending. I hate this notion of these massive omnibus bills or reconcile. I get that what the president wants to do and wants to have funded, his priorities need to be done through through reconciliation, because regular legislation, which is subject to a filibuster, would be filibustered. In order to break a filibuster, you need 60 votes plus one. Republicans don't have that. At most, they have 53. In order to get in, we needed J.D. Vance to break the tie in the Senate. Vice President can only break a tie if it's 50-50. Cannot break 49-49, 48-48, etc. Democrats will stall. They will stop. They will do anything they can to not allow Trump to have any sort of a win. So I understand the need to do this through the reconciliation process. What I don't understand is, since we have 3 cracks per fiscal year at budget reconciliation, why each individual main policy item is not broken up. I mean, I know why. It's because they want to force this 11th hour negotiator. All right, you want to go home for the 4th of July? You vote yes. Most Republicans, I think, have bought into the argument, which was always the winning one, that was, look, this is our one chance to fund Trump's agenda. Are you with the president? Do you trust this administration? I think this administration certainly should have earned every Republican's trust. The problem that I have with this administration, just like with the last one, is they are ambitious. They are very, very driven. They also spend a lot of money. Even if you take COVID-related spending out of the equation, we're always talking about going back to pre-COVID spending. That was still dramatically elevated. We doubled the national debt under Barack Obama in 8 years. We went from about $10 trillion to about 20, give or take. Under Trump, we added another $7 trillion to the debt. Even before COVID, it was something like $3.5 trillion that was added in 3 years. That's a ton of money. Now, Biden further exploded it, going up $9 trillion, 8.5 to be totally specific, in just 4 years. And I do believe that the Congressional Budget Office scoring of this is not accurate. It's not going to cost $4 trillion. You are going to see increased economic activity as a result of this. And I am sympathetic to the White House's arguments that you need to take this in toto with what the Trump administration is doing. You're getting a whole lot of tariff revenue in addition to a whole lot of new business in the United States as a result of reworked trade deals, as a result of pledges to invest hundreds of billions of dollars in the United States just in the first few months of Trump's second term. They're saying all of this is going to lead to new government revenue, which is going to more than negate the revenue that's lost through tax cuts. And just generally extending those tax cuts will keep higher revenues in place. I get that. This bill still spends a ton of money. This is money that we simply do not have. The easiest way I can express to you just how dire the situation is that we spend approximately $1 trillion a year on national defense. We spend more on defense than the next 3 countries combined. We spend just an ungodly amount on national defense, and with good measure. There are people, there are nation states that would do us harm. And we are the deterrent to the world's bad actors with our military might that is unprecedented in world history. Look what we just did 2 weeks ago in Iran. Nobody is doubting that we need to spend a lot of money. I want you to think of the $1 trillion we spend on national defense. Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Space Force, the Pentagon, all of it. The entire Defense Department. We spend more per year now just paying interest on our national debt. We pay $1.1 trillion per year. That number is expected to double in less than a decade to nearly $2 trillion per year. Just by way of comparison, the total federal outlays in a given year are typically about $6 trillion. $6 trillion we spend on everything. Our total budget, total outlays, total amount spent, about $6 trillion. 1/3 of that in a decade will just go to paying interest. That's how dire this scenario is. And maybe it's because I'm a little bit younger relative to most of the people making decisions in politics who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. I'm in my 40s. I sure don't feel like a young man with my bad eyesight and even worse left knee. But I'm thinking 20, 30, 40 years into the future, when my children will come of age, have children of their own, they won't have Social Security. That's going to be insolvent a lot quicker than people fear. We're all worried about, the bill is kicking so many people off of Medicaid, who, by the way, are not entitled to be on Medicaid to begin with, like illegal aliens. Notice they never say it's kicking 11 million Americans off of Medicaid. Whenever some Democrat, if you're at a 4th of July cookout this weekend, okay, and you say, they say to you, it's kicking 11 million people off of Medicaid, I want you to respond by saying, oh yeah, how many Americans? See what they say. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. We will name the unsung hero of the day next. Don't go anywhere.
From the Lynch Chevrolet of Kenosha Total Traffic Center.
Crash eastbound lanes of Capitol at 4145. Left lane is blocked. Northbound 4145. Slow from Watertown Plank up to Hampton. Southbound delays Good Hope down to Burleigh. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Blindster.com's 4th of July sale is your chance to save up to 50% site-wide on custom blinds, shades, and shutters. Don't miss out on these incredible savings. These deals end July 9th. Shop Blindster.com today.
I'm Total Health's Jay Johnson. The Falls and New Berlin. Additives, chemicals, and toxins in your diet can miswire the way your genes express themselves. Food is critical for health. Increased energy, better sleep, reversing chronic disease. A healthier, happier, pain-free you is simple. Schedule your free Total Health consult. Holistic health coaches will guide you to a healthier, happier, truly you. Seed oils, the #1 source of calories in American diets, were developed as fuel in industrial lubricants. Seed oils cause dozens of chronic illnesses. Big Healthcare solution to nutritional-related illness is their same solution to all health-related problems. Drugs that also alter the way your genes express themselves, leaving root causes, making you increasingly sick over time. What they never tell is eliminate seed oils from your diet, and cutting back on sugar will immediately improve your health. It's true. Total Health finds root causes of sickness, including nutritional deficiencies, then helps you, the whole complete you, achieve wellness. It's not theory. Relativity equals expertise plus execution. TotalHealthInc.com. That's TotalHealthInc.com.
You've got an app for your music, but what about your favorite morning show, sports team, or live local news and weather?
See things start to change.
Yep, there's an app for all that too. iHeartRadio. Download the #1 app for radio, the free iHeartRadio app.
I'm Dan Voss from Cut and Go. Ugly and depressing and trees killed off by emerald ash, oak wilt, and Dutch elm disease are dangerous for friends and loved ones, even a potential liability. Slowly rotting, left-standing hardwood trees can weigh tens of thousands of pounds. Even seemingly smaller branches can weigh tens, even hundreds of pounds. With Cut and Go, there is no reason to risk injury or property damage. Live trees in precarious placement for an arborist to remove over homes, garages, commercial buildings, luxury landscapes are easily and safely laid on the ground by Cut and Go's NCCER crane-operated certified remote control automobile mounted articulating crane grapple saw operators. You can save big money and stock up on firewood by having Cut and Go put your trees on the ground for you to clean up or have a bonfire or split firewood, or we can take it all with us when we leave. A Tons of Trees movement. Cut and Go trees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com. Once again, that's cutandgotrees.com.
When starting a new home project, the first step is the hardest to take. Hi, Colleen here with Tri-County Contracting. And with Tri-County Contracting, the first step is super easy. Go to TriCountyContractingWI.com. You can fill out a short form requesting a free estimate. Amanda will give you a call and schedule a no-pressure appointment with you. Whether it's roofing, siding, windows, or all of the above, we have you covered. If you are looking for an even faster roof price, we also have our instant roof quote button. Name, address, and email address, and you have your price on the spot. Easy first step. Then, all the steps after that, we'll take care of those for you. Getting you an easy-to-read, clear proposal quickly comes next. Then we can help you pick colors using our showroom or project map on our website. We pull the permits, we take care of materials and disposal. Our trained and specialized crews and project managers take care of all the install and cleanup. For you, it's as easy as one step, and that step is easy. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting.
Strong schools make strong communities, and homeowners help pay for them through property taxes. But families and seniors are overwhelmed by skyrocketing property taxes. If lawmakers don't fund schools in this state budget, your property taxes will increase. We all want great schools, but rising property taxes are burying homeowners. Tell lawmakers, fund schools, don't bury homeowners. Visit buriedbypropertytaxes.org to learn more. Paid for by the Wisconsin Homeowners Alliance.
Your home cleaning friend, it's Edelman again. Edelman.
For many of us, the most important part of our routine between 6 and 9 weekday mornings is to listen to every minute of the Jay Weber Show on WISN. Sadly, sometimes less important elements of our lives get in the way, such as work, children, and bathing. Don't despair. The Jay Weber Show podcast is available 24/7 to fill any gaps in your hunger for entertainment. Just go to newstalk1130.com, click the podcast tab, and enjoy Jay Weber on demand.
No radio handy? No problem. Listen to WISN's live audio stream 24/7 via the web. Just click on the Listen Online tab at newstalk1130.com.
Coming up in the next hour, we will do a little tribute to these great United States on the last broadcast day before the 4th of July this Friday. Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. We will talk with Michael Hupy, who is, of course, with Hupy and Abraham. He put up a substantial amount of money of his own so that Milwaukee could have a 3rd of July drone show. The county was no longer interested in putting on fireworks displays, and last year there were no fireworks. There was nothing. Hupy said, you know what, that's not okay. County still did not want to do a fireworks display, but he apparently was able to convince them to do a drone show, and he funded it. We'll talk with him coming up right after the top of the hour news. Then my rebuttal to those who say America isn't the greatest country on earth. Let's face it, most of those people are libs, right? Almost all of them have got to be libs. I mean, look, I can prove it. The Gallup Patriotism survey out this Monday shows that just 36% of self-identified Democrats say they are very or extremely proud to be an American. Compare that with 93% of Republicans. I can actually prove that they're wrong. I can actually prove objectively in every single facet of life that America is the greatest place on earth. I can prove it. How do I know that? I can prove it right now. We still have Puffy in jail. P. Diddy is still in jail. He was acquitted on racketeering and sex trafficking charges. Those were the most serious charges against him today. Found guilty on 2 lesser charges of transportation of former girlfriends for prostitution. Ew. The verdict is indeed seen as a victory for Diddy. His defense team opted not to call witnesses before it rested at trial. The judge, though, today did deny bail, and Diddy, whose real name is Sean Combs, will remain detained until his sentencing, which has been set for this fall. Prosecutors say they'll seek a 4 to 5 year prison sentence. Combs has vociferously denied all allegations against him. I honestly have no real opinion on the Diddy trial. I didn't really follow it. I have no real interest in it. Also today, the formal plea from the Idaho murders killer, Coleman, Brian Coleman. Kohlberger, that's it. Kohlberger. Brian Kohlberger pleaded guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder in order to avoid the death penalty, dealing a significant blow to those who say the death penalty doesn't deter criminals. They all seem to want to avoid the death penalty. The unsung hero of the day is presented every day by our friends at Blue Line Cleaning Services, residential and commercial cleaning done by professionals. Your unsung heroes of the day today are all those of us, the 93% of Republicans and apparently just 53% of independents, and yes, 36% of Democrats who say they are extremely or very proud to be Americans. The Gallup Patriotism Survey has been done every single year since 2001, and never before have Democrats been this not proud, this ashamed to be American. Republicans, though, have remained consistently proud, never getting below about 89% of them saying they are very or extremely proud to be American. Most of us in this country are, folks. And next hour, we will celebrate this country here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference. Listen to Clay and Buck weekdays 11 to 2 on News Talk 1130 WISN Milwaukee. And make WISN the #1 preset on your car radio and on the new iHeart app. Free never sounded so good.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. A New York City jury reached a mixed verdict on all the charges in the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs.
Jurors have found Sean Diddy Combs not guilty of the most serious charge of racketeering as well as sex trafficking charges, but did find him guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. The conviction could still send him to prison for as long as a decade. In New York City, Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
The man charged in Fond du Lac County with first hitting, then dragging a woman's body was in court today. Fox 6's Carl Deffenbaugh.
Prosecutors say Yatziel Encarnacion hit Taya Grimes' body after she was ejected from a car in a separate crash. Police say Grimes was dead when Encarnacion drove up on that first crash, but then dragged her body for 3 miles.
And the man charged with killing 4 University of Idaho students pleaded guilty in court today. Brian Kohlberger accepted a plea deal that takes the death penalty off the table in exchange for him pleading guilty to committing the 4 murders in 2022 and serving life in prison. Checking the holiday automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard. Brewers take game 1 of their doubleheader over the Mets this afternoon in New York, 7-2. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Mostly clear with a slight chance for a thunderstorm this evening. Temperatures dropping through the 70s. Partly sunny and warm on Thursday. 90 inland, 84 near the lake with a slight chance for a thunderstorm. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks.
This report is sponsored by the International Hot Rod Association.
The International Hot Rod Association Outlaw Nitro Series is back. 5 events, 4 locations. 1 explosive season. Funny cars. Promo. You are in the stands. Get your tickets now at IHRA.com. IHRA.com.
Academic Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at ACCUNET.com.
So the Donahos invited us to dinner.
Hang on, honey. Hello?
Hi, this is Lori from First American Bank.
Whoa, honey, it's the bank. Listen to how real this AI voice sounds.
Hello?
Yes, hello. I'm calling about your First American Bank home equity line of credit application.
That is free.
Right? What do I press for? Representative.
Oh, you don't press anything. I'm a real person.
Now it's claiming to be a real person.
Wow. Sir, along with First American Bank's best loan deals in town, we pride ourselves on providing impeccable personal service. That's why you get me, a real-life specialist, to help you every step of the way with your loan. Isn't that more useful than passing you off to an artificial intelligence chatbot?
What's 2 times 2?
4.
Who created the Dewey Decimal System?
Melville Dewey.
Limburger sandwich or cheese curds?
Oh, you're not dragging me into that one.
First American Bank, the bank that does more for your money. Visit firstmbank.com.
or call us at 262-577-2400. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Strong schools make strong communities, and homeowners help pay for them through property taxes. But families and seniors are overwhelmed by skyrocketing property taxes. If lawmakers don't fund schools in this state budget, your property taxes will increase. We all want great schools, but rising property taxes are burying homeowners. Tell lawmakers, fund schools, don't bury homeowners. Visit buriedbypropertytaxes.org to learn more. Paid for by the Wisconsin Homeowners Alliance.
I'm Victor Harding for Warshevsky. Need to know what personal injury firm will get you maximum compensation? Ask around. Warshevsky is regularly referred to friends and family members of former clients, other lawyers, judges, law enforcement officers, insurance adjusters, often our adversaries. Refer Warshevsky because people with experience know we will achieve the maximum judgment or settlement possible. If someone you love is injured, please let them know because at the end of their ordeal, their injury is about the money. Warshevsky.com.
Are you tired of being tired? Go to adventknows.com.
WISN listeners are wise, enlightened, engaged, and have impeccably good taste. Thank you for making us Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130 WISN.
Go-Wall Investment Group, now Creative Planning, is a registered investment advisor. Now for your business report from Creative Planning. For informational purposes only, past performance is not indicative of future results.
Good afternoon. I'm certified financial planner John White with your closing business report. Stocks were higher today but came under pressure earlier amid a surprising decrease in private payrolls. The ADP report showed that the private sector lost 33,000 jobs last month. Economists expected payrolls to grow by 100,000. Meanwhile, investor optimism was boosted after President Trump's announcement of a U.S.-Vietnam trade deal. The deal includes a 20% tariff on imports from Vietnam. Shares of Nike, which manufactures over half its footwear in Vietnam, were over 4% higher on the news. On the day, the Dow was down 10 points to close at 44,484. The S&P 500 is up 29 points, and the Nasdaq is up 190 points. From Creative Planning, I'm John White.
Final hour of the Dan O'Donnell Show before we take an extended 4th of July holiday. Folks, hey, don't complain to me. It's a company-mandated holiday. I just, I'll struggle through somehow. But this hour, we are going to take a break from the day-to-day stuff, and we are going to focus on America's independence and what makes this the single greatest place on earth. It always is, it always has been, and it always will be. Not because of our politics, not because of our leaders, but because of people like you, people like me, people like all of us, everyday Americans doing their part to make this a better place to live. One of those great Americans stepped up to save the 4th of July celebration in Milwaukee for years and years and years. We had a 3rd of July fireworks display last year. Milwaukee County said, "Niet." They're not doing a fireworks display. They still don't want to do a fireworks display. So Michael Hupy stepped up and said, you know what? I'm going to fund a drone show. We will talk to him in just a second. First, Sizzlin' Summer Cash Contest. Word this hour is cash. C-A-S-H, cash. You have got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword cash to enter the contest for this hour. If your entry is picked at random, you will win $1,000 in cash. instantly had 2 nationwide winners yesterday, if you can believe that. Both on this program, both were listening, both entered the contest, and both won $1,000. What do you say we make it 3 for 3 today? Huh? All you need to do is go to our website and enter the keyword cash. I am pleased to be joined now live on the phone by a great friend of the Dan O'Donnell Show, a great friend of the O'Donnell family, because believe it or not, he graduated from Marquette University Law School with my parents. He is the partner at Hupy and Abraham, the law firm that bears his name. Michael Hupy joins me. Sir, welcome to the Dan O'Donnell Show. It's truly an honor.
Thank you, Dan, and good afternoon.
So you are going to be sponsoring the Milwaukee County Drone Show. What prompted you to step up?
Well, last year I was very disappointed that we didn't have the fireworks to celebrate the 4th of July. I know 100,000 or more other people were also very unhappy that we didn't have the fireworks. And I said, I'm going to bring that back if I have to pay for it all myself. So I contacted the county. And by the time I did, they had already decided they were going to do a drone show instead. So I stepped up and said, I'm going to be the presenting sponsor. I'm going to write the check and I'll do it again next year. And we have the show tomorrow.
That's fantastic. It is going to be at Milwaukee's lakefront. It is going to be over McKinley Beach and the entire lakefront. It's going to be 45 minutes long. There's going to be a score to it that is going to be blasted all across the lake. If you've never done a 4th of July drone show, my community did for the first time last year, the night after the 4th on July 5th. They did the fireworks as local communities do, and then they did a drone show the next night. They are really cool. What can we sort of expect tomorrow? I don't want spoilers, sir, but what's this show going to be like tomorrow?
Well, it's going to be 3 segments of 15 minutes each, starting at 9:15. Go to 9:30, 9:30 to 9:45, and then 9:45 to 10. And it's going to be, as I have been told by the county executive and others, fantastic. It's going to have some iconic Milwaukee displays, and I hope I didn't spoil anything, but that's about as much as I know.
So wait, this is going to be kind of a surprise to you too, huh?
Yes, I haven't seen the whole show.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is like top secret stuff. So did the county say why they didn't want to do fireworks? Was it cost? Was it staffing?
It was two things, according to what the county executive said. It was, number one, cost. The cost of this is going to be about half of what the fireworks would have cost. And it's also environmental. There is less environmental problem with the drone show than with fireworks spreading all over the lake. And it sounds like it's going to be a good alternative. I got a lot of positive feedback from people, and I think everyone's going to enjoy it.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the 3rd of July fireworks. It was always a great tradition. It was always a really good thing, but pretty much everybody goes to their local community, whether it's, Greendale or Shorewood or Cedarburg on the 4th of July. That was the whole reason that Milwaukee didn't do its own 4th of July fireworks. That's why we always had the fireworks on the 3rd. It was always part of Summerfest. There would be a giant display and people would be all around the lakefront. So I guess I kind of get that, but I'm sort of like you, sir. I love the fireworks on the 4th of July, but I guess I'm new school enough to say, yeah, in addition to this, it's something different. It's something cool. On the 3rd of July, you go see the drone show, and then on the 4th, you go to the fireworks.
And there are many fireworks around the city and around the county that people can go to on the 4th. So we're not taking anything away from that.
No, and that's, I mean, it sounds like the county had made up their mind long ago. And I had heard this same thing, that the cost was a big issue and that the environmental concern, it wasn't like they were concerned about the pollution from lighting off fireworks. It's that the fireworks land in the water, and we don't want to pollute our waterways any more than MMSD does. But I actually am sympathetic to that as somebody who may or may not light off his own fireworks. I have a permit. It's legal. Don't worry. But I always go to a dear friend's on, usually it's right before or right after the 4th of July. This year, it's going to be no different. And we light off, we have a little show that we set to music. It's just, you know, the small little display, but those things go everywhere. And we will spend like an hour afterwards just picking up, for lack of a better word, shrapnel. The thing about the drone shows is if you haven't seen them, they really do. I mean, it's almost hard to describe. It's like, okay, yes, it's just a bunch of drones. Do you know how many drones, by the way, they're using?
I understand it's going to be hundreds.
Oh, man. I'm guessing it's probably going to be somewhere north of about 500 drones. What these things do is they're all automated and they're all set to fly in perfect, precise formation, and they will be, you know, blasting different colors and arrange themselves into different shapes almost within a second or two. And the one we had, it was like Mount Rushmore, and it was George Washington, and then it was an American flag that would actually fly. And you've got the soundtrack blaring. It's just, it's very, very cool. And I just want to say, sir, I know you and I have been friends for a long time. I know you were classmates with my mom and dad, who both say hi, by the way, when they heard.
Hello to my classmates. And by the way, remembering them, I know you wouldn't do anything illegal there.
Yes, exactly. See? Well, you know my dad, so there's a gray area in there. But no, I always make sure. In fact, they won't sell you fireworks in this state without getting a permit. And the community I live in does allow for, I'm not buying like, you know, military grade fireworks, the kind that cities use. We just have real low lying ones, but the kids are like right underneath them. And it's a lot of fun. It's just, you know, at the end of a
Your
driveway.
mother and my father were both judges, and we're both always on the straight and narrow, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. My mom is probably texting me right now. Why are you telling thousands and thousands of people about your law breaking, Daniel? So yes, yes, exactly. You know her too well, but I just, I want to say thank you for stepping up. This isn't the law firm stepping up, folks. This is Michael Hupy, who has also funded Crime Stoppers. He has put up any number. Do you know the number of rewards that you've put up for Crime Stoppers cases over the years?
Well, 2, I've paid out a $25,000 reward in the death of a 5-year-old girl who was killed sitting on her grandfather's lap.
Oh, boy, was that a horrible one.
Yes, it was. The thugs were shooting up the wrong building. Then I paid $50,000 to someone who solved the murder of a 9-year-old girl. I have a $100,000 reward pending in the Tay Jackson case. I was on the board of directors of Children's Outing Association, and she was killed at one of our properties. And I have a couple more pending. I'm going to put another one up next week, but I'm keeping that under wraps for now.
I mean, that's when I talk about everyday Americans, sir, that just step up to help their communities. This is what I'm talking about. I kind of wanted to have you on just to sort of say thank you. I know you and I have had a relationship over the years. I know you are a loyal friend of the show. We email and text back and forth pretty regularly. And I just want to have you on to publicly say thank you, not just for putting up your own money to make sure that this drone show goes forward, but also for all of your work with Crime Stoppers and all of the work that you do to help bring these dangerous criminals to justice and to ensure that justice is served. It's really a great service that you provide.
Well, thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Michael Hupy of Hupy and Abraham joining me here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Where are you going to be sitting for the show tomorrow night? I may stop on down.
That I don't know. The drone show is going to be pretty much across from the tennis courts, a little bit north of there, and I may park at somewhere near the yacht club and down a bit.
All right, I'll tell you what, I've got some friends down at the yacht club. I think I might see if I can charm my way into their parking lot as well. And I may just see you down there, sir. It is going to be a great show. And thank you again. Have a wonderful Independence Day, a blessed one with you and your family.
Thanks again, Dan.
All right. The pleasure is all mine. He is Michael Hupy, and we are going to be right back with objective proof that America is the single greatest nation on earth. You don't want to miss this.
From the place you want to go, Lynch McGuanago Traffic Center.
In West Dallas, early Independence Day celebration closing Greenfield between 84th and 68th should be open by 9 p.m. Also, the on-ramp from Greenfield to A94 northbound partially blocked with an accident. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Our iHeart Radio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is back in Vegas.
T-Mobile Arena.
September 19th and 20th, streaming live only on Hulu. 15 artists, 2 nights, 1 stage. Get tickets now at AXS.com.
Capital One is the proud presenting partner of iHeart Radio Music Festival, bringing great products, rewards, and services to its customers. What's in your wallet?
Dan O'Donnell here for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you in Waukesha, Milwaukee, Muskego, Brookfield, Heartland, Cedarburg, and their Waukesha Fleet and Specialty location. If you have a business with a multi-vehicle fleet, Mander is the place to go because their team understands you can't have a vehicle out of service for a while, so they work quickly and efficiently to get you back on the road and serving your customers as fast as possible through expedited fleet repairs. Mander has been serving their customers and their community for well over 20 years, and they know that the key is expert workmanship and fast turnaround times combined with the sort of customer service that you'll only find at a family-owned local business like Mander. Start your repair today at mandercollision.com and find out for yourself why Mander truly is your best decision after a collision.
We love to celebrate the 4th of July with family, friends, food, and fireworks. Please be safe this Independence Day weekend and don't drink and drive. From your friends at Gruber Law and iHeartMedia.
Strong schools make strong communities, and homeowners help pay for them through property taxes. But families and seniors are overwhelmed by skyrocketing property taxes. If lawmakers don't fund schools in this state budget, your property taxes will increase. We all want great schools, but rising property taxes are burying homeowners. Tell lawmakers, fund schools, don't bury homeowners. Visit buriedbypropertytaxes.org to learn more. Paid for by the Wisconsin Homeowners Alliance.
The Census Bureau says more than 12,000 Americans turn 65 each day. It's a surge they call Peak 65, the highest number in history. Some Annex clients retire early. Some keep working because they love it. You know why? Because they've got custom plans built by fee-only fiduciaries. They identified their wants and needs, and we went to work. We want to do the same for you. Annex does financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Visit AnnexWealth.com and click the Get Started button.
We all know the importance of good daily habits, whether it's getting your steps in, stretching those limbs, or eating right. Doing it on the regular is key. That's why if you're dealing with everyday aches and pain, it's time to bring Relief Factor into your routine. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a special formula of 4 natural ingredients. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So call 1-800-4-RELIEF and try their 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Simply call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, don't let it keep you from living the life you want. Make Relief Factor part of your daily routine. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app. Powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
What has a lake, superb food and drink, and the biggest variety of music on the planet? Yep, it's Summerfest 2025.
Milwaukee's lakefront, cold beer, live music. There's nothing better.
For 3 weekends, June 19th through 21st, June 26th through 28th, and July 3rd through 5th. Thousands of festive souls listen to music from over 600 artists on 9 different stages. Go for the sun, music, food, and to watch the people. Or go to be watched by other people. Check out the schedule and more at summerfest.com.
Show celebrating America's independence ahead of the 4th of July with a special themed hour. We have been talking all week about the brand new Patriotism poll that shows that while 93% of Republicans are very or extremely proud to be American, just 36% of Democrats are. That has driven the overall patriotism level in this country down significantly, as a whole lot of left-leaning independents are also saying that they aren't especially proud to be American. And in truth, it seems like we're constantly bombarded with the notion that America isn't that great, or maybe that somehow its best days are behind it. The reality is, nothing could be farther from the truth, and I can prove it. No matter how you look at it, economically, militarily, intellectually, athletically, culturally, America really is the greatest nation on earth. It has, of course, the largest economy in the entire world. The U.S. dollar is the world's reserve currency, and that makes it the world's most valuable money. The U.S. Stock Exchange is also the world's largest, by far, market capitalization of more than $26 trillion. Now, in part because of that, and in part because America is just naturally an entrepreneurial nation, we also have by far the most millionaires. There are a staggering 24.5 millionaires in the United States. Now, to put that into perspective, if those American millionaires were their own country, there would only be 56 nations on Earth with a larger population. There are more millionaires in the United States than there are total people in Ireland, New Zealand, Norway, and Singapore combined. But Americans aren't greedy. That's the thing. We're also by far the most generous people in the world, giving a stunning $500 billion annually each year to charity. According to the World Giving Index, 50% of all Americans, all 330 million plus of us, give to charity. An average donation is about $574. And not only that, 42% of Americans give something more valuable than money. They give their time in volunteer work. 72% of Americans help strangers in need. In terms of military might, there's really no contest. According to annual rankings from Global Firepower, the U.S. military is the most powerful fighting force in the world, and with $886 billion or more in average annual funding, it's also by far the best equipped. But America isn't just the best at killing, it's also the best at healing, spending more total and more per capita on healthcare for its citizens than any other nation. We're also far and away the world's leader in medical research and development. We spend nearly 4 times more on it per year than the next closest country. Now, this has led to countless innovations, which is sort of par for the course in a nation that's also the world's leader in cutting-edge technology. We spend more than any other nation in the development of artificial intelligence and robotics. We also lead the world in space exploration. We spend roughly double the amount spent by the next closest country. In fact, the U.S. accounts for a full 40% of the world's space funding. Now, it should come as no surprise that Americans have won the Nobel Prize the most, with more than 400 winners. 40% of all Nobel Prizes that were ever awarded were awarded to Americans. They typically are educated at American universities, which dominate the world university rankings. 16 of the world's top 25 colleges are in the United States. Now, we also have the best transportation in the world, largest network of roads on the planet at 4.3 million miles, the longest rail network in the world, 155,000 miles, and the most commercial airline passengers each year at more than 665 million. It should also not be surprising at all that America is the largest oil producer in the world, not to mention the world's top source of natural gas and nuclear power as well. But it's more than just the American economy, the American military, and American technology. America's culture is also the most globally pervasive. The American media market, easily the biggest, an estimated $500 billion in annual revenue. American films, far and away the biggest hits at the global box office. The American music industry is the most listened to in the world. Athletically, too, America is the best, winning more Olympic gold medals and more total Olympic medals than any other nation. It's also hosted the Olympics 9 times, by far the most of any country. But yet, the truest test of the best country is the one where the most people want to live. Unsurprisingly, that's here. According to the World Migration Report, America is the biggest recipient of both legal and illegal immigrants and has been now for 55 years, since 1970. People come from across the world, often leaving everything behind and risking everything they have to get to a nation that they know and they prove with their migration that is the greatest place on earth. And now, you know it too.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Northbound 4145, 22 minutes up to Good Hope. Southbound at 14. You got 19 northbound on 43 up to Brown Deer. Southbound only 13 minutes. Crash on the ramp from Howard to 4394 northbound. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Shop Mattress Firm's July 4th sale and reclaim your restless nights. Choose from a curated premium selection of mattresses to find just the upgrade you're looking for. Get matched, sleep at night.
What has a lake, superb food and drink, and the biggest variety of music on the planet? Yep, it's Summerfest 2025.
Milwaukee's lakefront, cold beer, live music. There's nothing better.
For 3 weekends, June 19th through 21st, June 26th through 28th, and July 3rd through 5th. Thousands of festive souls listen to music from over 600 artists on 9 different stages. Go for the sun, music, food, and to watch the people, or go to be watched by other people. Check out the schedule and more at summerfest.com.
Hi, I'm Willa Voss. I'm 8 years old. Mom and Dad own Cut and Go Tree Service. Yes, they did name me after a tree. Our family loves this country and the freedom it provides. Every morning, I look forward to starting the school day with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please say it along with me, even if you just say it in your mind. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. American patriots will enjoy a 5% discount for flying the American flag and mentioning this commercial when the Cut and Go remote control, automobile mounted, articulated crane, grapple saw operators are putting your dead trees on the ground or removing large branches that grew over something important. An all-American Tons of Trees movement, cutandgotrees.com. That's CUTNGOTREES.com.
Imagine your home totally organized. At Closets by Design, we specialize in providing affordable, custom-built storage solutions with built-ins and beyond. From walk-in closets to new laundry rooms and pantries, our experienced designers work within your budget to design a solution fit perfectly to your needs. Get 40% off plus an additional 15% with 18-month financing. Visit closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get started. Let's get organized together.
I'm attorney Tom Grieve with Divergent Family Law, here to talk about facts and myths about divorce. Do you think as long as you play nice, so will your spouse? That's a myth. Many divorces start that way, but before you know it, one disagreement unravels everything you previously thought was settled. Have you heard it's cheaper to get divorced without an attorney? That's a myth. It's not. The assets lost by not knowing what you are legally entitled to are much more costly than an attorney. Have you heard attorneys bill by the minute and will waste time so that they can charge you more? At Divergent Family Law, that's a myth. We offer free consultations for divorce and provide you with a flat quote for representation. You won't have to wonder what you'll get charged. The facts are you'll get your best possible outcome when you have an experienced attorney at your side. Our attorneys have seen it all. They know the laws and they know the judges. They'll make sure that you get your fair share or better. Contact us today at divergentfamilylaw.com.
Strong schools make strong communities, and homeowners help pay for them through property taxes. But families and seniors are overwhelmed by skyrocketing property taxes. If lawmakers don't fund schools in this state budget, your property taxes will increase. We all want great schools, but rising property taxes are burying homeowners. Tell lawmakers, fund schools, don't bury homeowners. Visit buriedbypropertytaxes.org to learn more. Paid for by the Wisconsin Homeowners Alliance.
Fleet Farm's got another great deal on tires to give you even more bang for your buck when you shop us. Get 4 qualifying Cooper or Goodyear tires installed with our Resolute Road Hazard policy and get a $100 gift card absolutely free. That's $100 you can use on anything in store, including oil, brakes, batteries, wiper blades, or other auto services. So stop in and get a fresh set of Cooper or Goodyear tires and your free $100 gift card, exclusively from Fleet Farm. Offer not available at Hastings.
I'm criminal defense attorney Tom Grieve with Grieve Law. When the police ask you questions, they aren't making casual conversation. They're collecting evidence, building their case against you. Think you can talk your way out of an OWI or drug charge? Think you can improve your chances by being cooperative? You can't. But you can make your situation a lot worse. One wrong word can make the difference. Don't take that risk. Contact Grieve Law for your OWI defense. You are only guilty if you are convicted. GrieveLaw.com.
Thank you, WISN listeners, for trusting your car repairs to Engine and Transmission Exchange. ETE has 2 locations with A-plus ratings from the Better Business Bureau. One is on South 27th Street in Milwaukee, the other on West Avenue in Waukesha, and they work on any make or any model. See enginetrans.com for details. Engine and Transmission Exchange.
Injured? Call Gruber Law. One call, that's all.
Hey there, history fans.
iHeartRadio brings you a brand new history podcast.
It's called American History Hotline,
where you ask the question,
what is political technology?
Did George Washington really cut down a cherry tree?
Were JFK and Marilyn Monroe having an affair?
And American History Hotline gets to the bottom of it.
I'm so glad you asked me this question.
This is such a ridiculous story that we tell ourselves because we don't want to know the real story.
Open your free iHeartRadio app. Search American History Hotline and listen now.
Well, did I convince you? Did I objectively prove that America really is the greatest place on earth? Every single way we define greatness in this world, America sits at the top of the world. But it's not due to government. It's not due to big business. It's not due to the military. It's not due to anything other than us, Americans. America was always not just an idea, but a place. A place that lives, yes, in a physical land, a beautiful land, an incredible land, but also in the hearts of the people who will bleed to forever preserve it. The 4th of July isn't just an anniversary of America's independence. It's also an anniversary of 47 years later, following the signing of the Declaration of Independence, when America very nearly fell at its own hand. The Battle of Gettysburg was fought over the 4th of July. And in the man who fired the very first shot of it, we find that everyday heroism and the true spirit of what it means to be an American. Dawn breaks on a warm July morning, and a soldier squints in the sunlight as he sees a cloud of dust rising from the road ahead. The Confederates are marching toward him. Beads of sweat drip from his brow. He grabs his corporal's rifle and steadies it against a fence. He takes a breath and squeezes the trigger. The Battle of Gettysburg has begun. As soon as the young soldier saw what he thought was a Confederate officer on a white horse, he fired his shot, the first of more than 1 million that were fired over 3 hellish days. The Union Army was desperate to stop General Robert E. Lee's advance northward just months after President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation freed all slaves in the Confederacy. It seemed that the dream of freedom there was all but dead. If Lee advanced any further than Pennsylvania, he might actually force a Union surrender, and as Lincoln had predicted years earlier, the House divided against itself over the question of slavery would not stand. And that House, which would fall, would be a great place. There's never been a freer, nobler, better place on earth. And there's never been a people more dedicated to ensuring it, perfectly willing to lay down our lives so that others might share in America's promise. Gettysburg would be the Union Army's last stand. The fighting raged for hours as the air grew thick with cannon and rifle smoke, and the anguished cries of the dying echoed through the battlefield. The hours became days. When the smoke cleared and the cries faded after the battle, a third of the soldiers who fought in it were dead injured, captured, or missing. It was the deadliest battle America had ever fought, made even more heartbreaking because it fought against itself. But the thing is, freedom always has a heavy cost. The Confederate Army was turned back and retreated south with the Union in hot pursuit. Gettysburg was the turning point in America's Civil War, and the Confederacy surrendered less than 2 years later. Marcellus Jones, the man who fired the first shot, was, in fact, the perfect man, perfect American, to begin his nation's final march toward true freedom. Why? Because he was just an ordinary man who dedicated his life to the cause of liberty. He wasn't of noble birth. He didn't have much education, but he was a hard worker, and as a boy helped his father build wagons. He discovered a talent for building things, made his way to Weyauwego, Wisconsin, to start a door-making business. Marcellus might not have had much formal schooling, but he was a superb businessman. His company flourished. But in 1858, his wife died in childbirth and his factory burned to the ground. He was devastated, but not defeated. He moved to Illinois and started a contracting and carpentry business. When southern states began seceding from the Union in 1860, though, Marcellus knew that war was inevitable. He joined the 8th Regiment Illinois Volunteer Cavalry, which was recruited at President Abraham Lincoln's personal request. Marcellus knew the stakes. He knew what he was giving up, but he also knew that America and its promise of freedom for millions was worth fighting for and dying for. There have been throughout history millions of Marcellus Joneses, ordinary men and ordinary women with an extraordinary willingness to bleed for the cause of freedom. It's a hallmark of a nation so dedicated to its founding ideals that it breeds generation after generation whose solemn duty it is to uphold them no matter the cost. We are all one people with one common purpose. And while we are and never have been perfect nor claim to be, we are always at the ready to right our society's wrongs. This in itself proves the rightness and the goodness of our society. We can recognize its failings and fight to fix them without succumbing to the cynical belief that America is itself oppressive or even racist. Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, but hundreds of thousands of Marcellus Joneses fought for them, and hundreds of thousands died for them. To this day, America is the only nation in the history of the world to go to war with itself to liberate millions from bondage. And throughout our history, it was the Marcellus Joneses among us who have reaped the benefits of America's meritocracy and free markets to create for themselves a better life than they might have dreamed. But when the nation calls them to lay that life aside to preserve freedom, they willingly and lovingly do so. We are all Marcellus Jones because we're all Americans, revolutionary in our kindness, our compassion, and our commitment to defending and protecting all people, regardless of their race, their creed, or the color of their skin. We are all one people with one common purpose. We are America. Viewing our past through the prism of modern judgment is a fool's errand. Our nation, like all nations, is forever pulled by the tide of history. But the difference is that America and its people have always been on the crest of the waves of societal progress. Throughout our history, we have fought for it, we have bled for it, and we have died for it. Doing so willingly and doing so lovingly so that our nation might live forever. Marcellus Jones, an ordinary American, fired the shot that turned the tide of the war, and several months later prompted another ordinary American, a lawyer from Illinois, who ascended to the highest office in the land to immortalize what the Marcellus Joneses at Gettysburg did for all of us, saying, 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
From the Lynch Truck Center in Waterford, Total Traffic Center.
Crash partially blocking the Howard Avenue entrance ramp to 4394 northbound. Traffic getting by very slowly on the right. Southbound on 894 tight from Oklahoma down to the Hale and then eastbound to 60th Street. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Stay connected and stay productive with Rapid Radios. Business owners trust Rapid Radios for instant, reliable team communication with nationwide LTE coverage, push-to-talk convenience, and room for up to 200 units on one feed. Keeping connected's never been easier.
Order now at rapidradios.com.
Hey, Monica. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Rick.
Hey, Joe. To what do we owe the honor?
Don't you have CEO type things you need to be doing?
Or Joe might be here because he's been doing some CEO type things that he thinks we should know about.
Bingo. You guessed it, Monica.
What do you need us to do, Joe?
Well, I'm here because I want to present an idea to you.
Cool. What is it?
I've been talking with finance companies and was able to make a deal for 18-month financing at 0% interest with a $750 or more purchase.
And your idea was to offer 18-month 0% financing to all of our customers?
It's subject to credit approval, but yeah, that's what I was thinking.
How long will we be able to do it?
From July 1st to July 31st.
0% will let people buy diamonds that were on their bucket list.
I know what I'm buying.
I'm going on a shopping spree. I'm going to have more jewelry than the Queen of England.
So you like the idea?
We don't like it. We love it.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Now, if you're selling your home and you don't have a real estate agent with a proven system for attracting buyers and marketing budget to back it up, well, it can take a lot longer than you think to get the right offer to sell your home. That's why I only recommend one real estate agent right here in town. I'm talking about Justin Hoffman with RE/MAX Lakeside. Now, he's a sharp real estate agent who knows the market well and gives you the smartest options. Now, his marketing is on a whole different level. He brings you options and marketing that other agents don't offer. Now, for decades, he has helped thousands of families just like yours consistently turn challenging situations into 5-star reviews, get the option that is right for you and the marketing plan that will make it happen. Now, with all the details involved in what is likely your largest investment, don't leave money on the table. Talk to the only agent in town I recommend. Just go to wihomeeval.com. That's wihomeeval.com. Or just Google Team Hoffman and check out over 700 5-star reviews.
Bo, you know why I smile like I just don't care?
Because you have a Ross Dental straight smile, Mila?
Partially, but...
Because you have a Ross Dental healthy smile?
It's that and...
I know. Because when you go to Ross Dental, it's like seeing family friends.
Of course, all that, but put simply, because I don't.
A pain-free smile is easy.
Ross Dental, New Berlin, and Waukesha.
Our mission?
your comfort, health, and confidence. Smile like you just don't care, because you don't. RossDentalWI.com.
Strong schools make strong communities, and homeowners help pay for them through property taxes. But families and seniors are overwhelmed by skyrocketing property taxes. If lawmakers don't fund schools in this state budget, your property taxes will increase. We all want great schools, but rising property taxes are burying homeowners. Tell lawmakers, fund schools, don't bury homeowners. Visit buriedbypropertytaxes.org to learn more. Paid for by the Wisconsin Homeowners Alliance.
When starting a new home project, the first step is the hardest to take. Hi, Colleen here with Tri-County Contracting. And with Tri-County Contracting, the first step is super easy. Go to tricountycontractingwi.com. You can fill out a short form requesting a free estimate. Amanda will give you a call and schedule a no-pressure appointment with you. Whether it's roofing, siding, windows, or all of the above, we have you covered. If you are looking for an even faster roof price, we also have our instant roof quote button. Name, address, and email address, and you have your price on the spot. Easy first step. Then, all the steps after that, we'll take care of those for you. Getting you an easy-to-read, clear proposal quickly comes next. Then we can help you pick colors using our showroom or project map on our website. We pull the permits, we take care of materials and disposal. Our trained and specialized crews and project managers take care of all the install and cleanup. For you, it's as easy as one step, and that step is easy. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting.
Your home cleaning friend, it's Edelman again. Edelman.
The latest news.
Let's get right to it. This is just breaking right now. A major development.
Exclusive investigations.
That has been confirmed by multiple sources. It is a story you will hear only right here.
In-depth analysis.
I did some digging on this and found the truth.
And plenty of fun.
It's time now for the strangest stories of the past week.
The Dan O'Donnell Show. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
All throughout American history, there are people who willingly gave everything they had, even in the War of 1812. We are hearing the 1812 Overture, one of my favorite American patriotic pieces, even though it was written by Tchaikovsky, I believe. In the War of 1812, during the siege of Baltimore Harbor, merchant sailors actually sunk their own ships, knowing full well that it would bankrupt them, to block the entrance to the harbor so that the British soldiers wouldn't be able to get in. The British Navy was stuck at the entrance to Baltimore Harbor, and Fort McHenry, which was seen as an access point to the United States, and the British were trying to land. They were going to take Fort McHenry, and then they had already seized and sieged, set fire to the White House and much of Washington, D.C. There was another force that was arriving by sea, and they were just going to spread, like, pardon the pun here, no pun intended, wildfire across the eastern seaboard. Dozens of merchant sailors destroyed their own livelihoods. They went to the edge of the harbor and they sunk their own ships so that the British cannons couldn't get close to Fort McHenry. There was a young lawyer on board one of the British ships. He was taken prisoner. He actually wrote a poem in celebration of the Americans' victory called The Defense of Fort McHenry. We now know it by another name, the Star-Spangled Banner. Francis Scott Key was so inspired. And in fact, "Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?" The fog, the smoke from the cannon fire was so thick as it got dark that he could no longer see whether the American flag was flying over Fort McHenry. And he was anxiously waiting. He was pacing the deck, waiting for the dawn to break so that he could see whether the American flag was still flying. if the British flag was, or if there was no flag flying over Fort McHenry, then he knew that the fort was seized. It still was. As Paul Harvey used to say, now you know the rest of the story. Did you also know that in America's national anthem, there are multiple verses? In fact, it's the fourth verse, the final verse, that is rarely ever sung. In fact, we only sing the first verse, which ends with, of course, "Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave, o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave." I actually think the American idea is perhaps best expressed in the fourth verse. "Oh, thus be it ever, when free men shall stand between their loved home and the war's desolation. Blessed with victory and peace, may the heavens rescued land praise the power that's a nation. Then conquer we must, when our cause it is just, and this be our motto, in God is our trust. And the star-spangled banner in triumph shall wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave." The Defense of Fort McHenry by Francis Scott Key. It was published all over the country. And then eventually it was set to the tune of an old drinking song. It became our national anthem. It was not officially recognized as America's national anthem until about a century later in the 1900s. This is the sort of thing, though, that everyday Americans can do. Save our land by destroying our own livelihoods, even giving our very lives. And so many men and women throughout American history have done that. That's what America stands for. That's what America ultimately is. And that's what we celebrate this 4th of July. And not just that, we kick off on Friday a whole year of celebrating America, the 250th birthday, culminating with July 4th, 2026. I hope you all have a very happy, very blessed, very safe 4th of July holiday weekend. I will be back Monday afternoon. Happy Independence Day, Wisconsin.